tonight on a special Halloween episode of Movie Night Extravaganza. And to round out our Witch Night Extravaganza coverage, we're going to be talking about Zach Cregger's new film, Weapons, starring Josh Brolin, Julia Garner, Alden Ehrenreich, Austin Abrams, Carrie Christopher, Toby Huss, Benedict Wong, and Amy Madigan. Zach Cregger was a founding member of Whitest Kids You Know, the sketch comedy troupe that began touring in the early 2000s, and in 2007 got a Fuse show which lasted 2 seasons and then 3 more seasons on IFC. He gave us classic sketches like It's Illegal to Say.
But what's interesting is that it's very illegal to say, I really, really think someone out there should kill the President of the United States of America. That's illegal, extremely illegal, very, very illegal, but not illegal to say with a mortar launcher. Because that's its own sentence. It's an incomplete sentence, but it may have nothing to do with the sentence before that.
After Whitest Kids You Know ended after 5 seasons, Cregger was booked to star in a couple short-lived sitcoms like Friends with Benefits and Guys with Kids. But he really found his calling writing and directing the 2022 horror film, Barbarian. Starring Georgina Campbell, Bill Skarsgård, and Justin Long, which really smartly used the concept of staying in people's houses rented out as Airbnbs to mine horror out of. Cregger was inspired for Barbarian by the book The Gift of Fear, Survival Signals That Protect Us from Violence, which talks about women's intuition and trusting red flags as a survival signal to escape from unsafe and possibly violent situations. He used the idea of a woman going to an Airbnb that had been double booked as a way to map out as many red flags as he could onto a treatment for a screenplay. Cregger talks about his screenwriting process as asking a question and having to work his way methodically through to an answer.
So you brought up questions and answers, and I kind of have a chicken or the egg question for you, because going into this movie, we all want to know what happened to these kids. And It's a great question.
Yeah.
The answer itself, which obviously we're not going to talk about, is also incredible. So I'd love to know, did you come up with the question and then have to figure out what the answer is?
Yeah, I came up with the question and I had to figure out the answer.
So how does that process work? Because you think to yourself,
panic.
Do you start writing without, because I know Stephen King sometimes says...
Exactly. You're a paleontologist unearthing the dinosaur skeleton one bone at a time, and you don't know what the dinosaur is.
How long in the process did you figure out what the answer was?
About midway through, I had an idea.
Was it the same thing with Barbarian?
Yeah. Barbarian, I was like, I have no idea. I didn't know there was a lady under the house until she appeared under the house.
Come on!
I did not know. I just hand to God.
What is that moment like when you're sitting there, either typing or pen to paper, and that thing hits?
All right, well, with Barbarian, I thought, well, it's over. Like, I have disqualified everything I've written up to this point. But I loved it so much, I was like, this is the only way this could end, and yet this is never gonna make it, you know? And I was cool with that. I was like, all right, that's the end. It's a 45-minute short film with a weird ending. I love it. It's not a movie. It's not a short. It's just a fun thing I did in my garage. Then I was like, but what if I came back through another window into the same? So that was like it was really fun, but it was also kind of like daunting.
With Barbarian, not even knowing that a woman was going to be living under the house until the idea came to him on the page. Similarly for Weapons, he started out with the idea of all these children disappearing and had to work his way to figuring out why through writing it out. One of the big problems for their pre-production part of Weapons is that they had cast Pedro Pascal, Renate Reinsve, and Brian Tyree Henry, who all had to back out when the Hollywood strikes in 2023 went on for as long as they did, replacing them with Josh Brolin, Julia Garner, and Benedict Wong.
I should have added one. I should have added Prisoners to that list.
Tell me about why you added Prisoners to the list.
The cinematography of Prisoners is so gorgeous. Roger Deakins, and it's like washed out, somber, cloudy, rainy movie, and I really, really wanted to like evoke everything visually that movie evoked. And so my cinematographer and I watched Prisoners and talked about it a lot when we were scouting, and it's very lived in too. That movie feels very authentic. You know, the mess in the people's homes and all that stuff is great. So Prisoners, big one. Magnolia, masterpiece, epic, all these different characters interacting, spiraling around one weird central miracle. I love it. John C. Reilly's mustache, put it in the movie. Alden is wearing it. It's like I kind of fastened Alden after John C. Reilly in that movie, you know.
Zach Cregger was also inspired by Paul Thomas Anderson's Magnolia and Denis Villeneuve's Prisoners, telling the story from the perspective of an ensemble cast, as well as Picnic at Hanging Rock and The Shining, movies about missing children and weaponizing kids to invoke horror. There's a ton of references and homages to other films throughout Weapons, including being inspired by David Lynch movies and Coen Brothers movies like Lost Highway and Raising Arizona. The film is divided into sections, each being from a different character's perspective to tell the story, including Justine the teacher, Archer, one of the fathers, Paul the police officer, James the heroin addict, Marcus the principal, and Alex the only student left in class. And of course, all of these stories intersect non-linearly, with each giving more information about what happened both before and after the children disappeared. Some of the stories are about grief and anger, and others are about actually solving what happened. It all intersects in a beautiful tapestry. It takes more than half the movie for the actual villain, Gladys, played by Amy Madigan, to actually be fully revealed, although she appears in dream sequences and quick appearances multiple times, which adds a feeling of real suspense as you try to piece together what happened to all these. Subscribe to the Movie Night Extravaganza YouTube channel. Then hit that bell to get notified whenever we're streaming. Super chats are now open. If you have any pressing questions, send us a super chat, which helps me maintain the expenses for the show, which I am obligated by the rules of the Geneva Convention to stop everything and ask the panel. Another way to help us out is to become a patron and give us money every month. In exchange, you get access to all of our after parties, bonus content, and we'll tell you even more movies we watched recently. Patreon.com/Movie Night Extra. We have a Movie Night Extravaganza Discord. There's an invite link in the episode description, and we have a Letterboxd HQ account. So those are 2 more places to follow along with us. Okay, let me introduce the illustrious panel. We are live right now on This Space. If you aren't following them, join This Space TV on YouTube. Link below. Conan Neutron is the co-host and senior producer for Movie Night Extravaganza, host of Protonic Reversal, an independent Film Critics of America film critic, and the frontman for the band Conan Neutron and the Secret Friends. Check out his music at neutronfriends.bandcamp.com. Kristina Oakes is a co-host of Movie Night Extravaganza, a streamer on Twitch, twitch.tv/cosmopolitics, a host at This Space, hosting Kristina's Corner, and is across social media at Cosmopolitics and on Letterboxd at Kristina. I, of course, am your host and the heroin addict who just stole your kid's MP3 player out of the car and then stabbed you with a needle, Forrest Miller. Happy Halloween, boys and girls.
Oregon Trail references are
Look
always
who's
gonna
back.
make me smile. Back again. Neutron's back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back?
Back to the brand new track. Go to Neutron and see your friends.
Kristina, are you going to have the hat be a permanent edition so people can't tell that you're not paying attention and reading instead?
Yes.
Wow, she's certainly doing a spell down there.
It'll be like the 1920s. Like, if you want to see our eyes, you have to go to the Patreon bonus content.
Yes.
It's a good look. It does very much look like the poster of Wicked, which I think you brought up last week. Yeah, good to be back. Weapons rules. Happy Halloween,
The
everybody.
end, everyone. See you on for Noir November.
Yeah. Been a great audience. Thanks so much. No, I've not been. I've more or less not been on the internet other than to repost live clips and things like that. So kind of weird to like leave a theme month in the middle of it and then come back, but that is what is happening. So Josh was great. Oh man, here we go. Soundboard, huh? Okay. Jesus Christ. Awooga.
I avoided it for the 2 weeks you were.
Awooga.
I don't know why. I was like, wait a minute, do we got a soundboard now?
Yeah, I forgot. I forgot.
I feel like there'd be more opportunity if there's more space to talk, right? Anyway, this is interesting. Normally, I wouldn't want to get into the mechanics of how we choose the movies for the theme months, but this one, ending with weapons, was a special treat because, spoiler alert, everybody, which is involved. But at the time that this movie kind of came out, the previews just looked like vaguely creepy. It's like, oh, well, why are those kids running that way? That's wild. But it doesn't mention witches, right? And we had the balancing act, and by we I mean Kristina and I, of we had both seen it, and Forrest, you had not. So
I mean, I think.
Well, hold on, that's not the story.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Right.
And so I was, Kristina and I were like, hey, we should end the Witches Month with weapons, but we can't tell him until he sees it.
Yeah.
Because it's like a huge spoiler, right?
Yeah.
But
I
didn't want to spoil it for
like,
you.
I feel like going hungover and shit the day after my birthday.
Yeah,
at,
well,
12:30
Really
in the
fucked you up.
afternoon.
Yeah, we know.
And then but like I don't know, it was
She's already sick of that story.
yeah.
Tell your story
Well,
walking, Miller.
But I just feel like that was an epic watch of weapons. Like just sitting
Yeah,
there being
well,
like,
right. But I wanted to make sure that you saw it so it could be like, all right, guess what? That's how we want to
Yeah,
we want to
well,
close
I mean,
out
as soon as we
Witches
finish
Month
it.
because it's the most recent entry, and there's a lot to discuss. Which don't worry, folks, we eventually will. Witches.
It would be very funny if they, somebody
It's
made
the
a
Music
version-
Man, but it's the Warlock Man instead. I think
somebody
we go a
made
little
version
something
of
like this.
that
We got
replaced-
trouble here right on Movie Night Extravaganza.
Right here in
replaced,
Witches City. Thank you. Go ahead.
Somebody made a. It would be funny
Which
if
is
someone
City.
made like a version of this where they just replaced Gladys with Alphaba. He's like, so that's like the big. That's like the big.
Oh, like
reveal.
swap them? Yeah.
Yeah.
You're green, not ginger. Okay.
But I think that it's in this day and age, it is so hard to keep anything secret. Like you get like a day before like spoilers galore, or like, or actually more likely references to things that you just don't know about a movie, right? Like where it's like people are like just running to like post, here are the Easter eggs and like whatever. It's like, well, can I see the movie first? I mean, it's and for folks like us where we like tend to try to see them on the quicker side,
Right.
cool. But I feel like that is kind of probably distasteful for your casual movie fan. So therefore, laudability goes to whoever made the previews that kind of show the unsettling aspects of this and the more interesting parts of it, but it's not immediately clear what the Sam Hill's going on too.
Yeah.
and I like that. I like that nowadays with some I guess with people realizing with horror films are like, we can't really reveal much. We're gonna be very, very vague. Like people still didn't really understand what Good Boy was about.
Right.
Still-
Well, yeah. Go, Kristina.
Such a sad movie, by the way. But
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I still gotta see. Yeah.
I'm not prepared to see that right now.
I asked,
but,
I asked Eileen, like she posted that essay about it, and I was
Yeah.
like, should I? Like, is this
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
make me? Is this gonna make me really sad, or should I? And she was like, oh, it's pretty good.
It's
I would go. Yeah.
it's a very long, like it's a journey to get to the climax of the movie. But yeah, but I like that horror films today are like being very, very vague about like what's really going on. They don't really reveal like what the villain is or like what the big
Oh, look, your
spooky,
eyes.
scary big bad is.
but eyes revealed. No, you're onto something. And so in the intro, it got to me thinking that it took me, first of all, I didn't see Barbarian when it very first came out because I was like, that sounds stupid. I don't want to see that. And then like, I saw one preview that was like, oh, it's something to do with Airbnbs. That's interesting. I've never seen a horror movie do that, which, spoiler alert, it both is and is not.
Yeah.
It's not
God,
like
it's
I expected like
reality, though.
Hostel or something. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it goes crazy, and I compliment, and it ended up being one of my favorite movies of that year just because it was like it didn't give you the entire movie in the preview. Right. And that's something that I feel like almost every movie, they just like, they're so desperate to get people's attention. They'll show you like every piece of it, every plot point, every, cameo or whatever. And that's just exhausting to me. And then I think back to like the Alien preview, right? In space, no one can hear you scream. You're like, well, what does that mean? Crazy. Like, that's insane that like, that would be the thing, that would be the thing that they would go with, but it was just like a different time. And I feel like we've lost the art of, preview making in a lot of ways, but I think the preview for this is super good because it gets a sense of unease across without telling you every piece of it.
And I think just thinking back to Barbarian, but also Weapons, right? I think it takes, I want to say 40 minutes in Barbarian to reveal like
Right.
that there's a woman under the house. Like there's an entire,
something's
there's the
wrong.
entire, think of
Like,
like
oh, it looks like a
Campbell.
little like a mix-up romantic comedy. Like, oh, cute. You know?
And you
I
even
never-
get like a Justin Long interlude, which is honestly like priceless. Like it's
Yeah.
so
And
great.
then you're like,
it's
oh
so-
fuck, this is a horror movie. He's gonna die.
Well, and like,
Well,
I also love that you get the comedic aspect of him, like, oh, how can I monetize this? Right? Where it's like,
Yes.
dude, that's a torture dungeon. Like, maybe, by the way, spoilers for Barbarian as well. I guess I should have mentioned that. But that's so great. And then you get this, it was something that I hadn't seen before. And of course, that's Zach Cregger's first movie, and I think that's so interesting because it was there were things that I had seen before, but not deployed the way that they were. By the way, I'm only going to mention one other time. Zach Cregger's brother is the old drummer from Multicult, who I played shows with.
Oh wow, nice.
Oh.
Which is wild. I mentioned that to y'all, but if you don't know who Multicult is, I mean,
it's-
they're known in the world that I'm in, but probably not the world at large. Great band.
It's incredible that he had his entire first edition of his career, which I don't know. I was like as like a younger, when I was younger.
Yeah.
I remember Whitest Kid You Know. Like obviously there's like the I put it in the intro, the like it's illegal to say thing, but also one of my favorite fucking sketches of all time, The Grapist, where it was a mascot. It was a bunch of grapes, and he's a mascot for a company, and he's like, he runs out and he scares children, and they're like, we're calling it The Grapist, and they're like you can't call a children's mascot that. But he's like, why? He runs out, he's graping everybody, he's throwing grapes in their mouth, and they're like,
And that's literally what we have to say instead of rape now, because we're so desensitized and like afraid of losing money that we can't say rape and sexual assault. And STIs.
I heard desensitized is demonetized, by the way, which was not what you said. But
what's the difference?
Yeah,
You know?
whatever.
Yeah.
I
never saw it.
Four houses. I'm tired.
I never saw it, so it's interesting to me, folks, because it was when I found out about Barbarian. I'm like, oh, what's this Zach Cregger dude all about? Oh, Whitest Kids You Know. I'm like, I don't know what that is. Like, but let's be clear, this is like what 2007 or so, right?
Yeah.
I was like touring hard. I was touring hard. I was not watching television at all. I was barely watching movies, frankly. So like that's just in that weird black hole of just I don't have any.
Well,
it's
a very Bush.
I was watching
era.
my Mr. Show DVDs. You know what I mean?
They were extremely like George
Sure.
W. Bush era group.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they kind of had their they started touring like 2003, and like a lot of the stuff is like they're kind of liberal, and like a lot of it. I mean, it's like it's illegal to say you want to kill the president, like jokes like that. I mean they did some really amazing comedy, but then they tried to make Zach Cregger from there, and I completely forgot about this, like a bankable sitcom star, and
Which is crazy.
Yeah,
which is like that's insane to me.
But one of the big shows that they had him on is Guys with Kids, and it's him and it's
I don't know what that is
Anthony,
either.
whatever the fuck his name is. But the thing is, Zach Cregger
Coming up next week, Anthony, whatever the fuck his name is.
The thing is, he's like afraid of kids, which is where the idea for the germ of this movie. He finds kids insanely creepy,
Right,
and
right.
like what they tried to do on NBC is like have a show where he like has a baby strapped to him for like the entirety of it.
This is a good comment coming up, Art here. Man, I can only count on one hand two guys who brilliantly move sketch comedy into contemporary horror, but Zach and Jordan Peele going down this road is something that should be studied more.
Absolutely.
And I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Key and Peele into what Jordan Peele has done, kind of, and there's definitely a chair waiting as like the modern Hitchcock or whatever for Mr. Jordan Peele. And as we said in our Nope episode, wildly underrated movie that I think is going to stand the test of time, big time. And with Zach Cregger, he's 2 for 2 for me. It's like, especially for someone that young, it's very impressive.
Both of them are on the writing side too. Of both sides. You know what I mean? Like they're both great sketch writers, but they're also like on the writing side of movies. Like Jordan Peele's written all of his own stuff.
As opposed, right, sure, as opposed to someone that's a fantastic director but they can't write or shouldn't write, and or writers that shouldn't direct. Anyway, whatever. I'm gonna get into trouble. So all that is just like the setup to talk about Weapons. I was very excited about Weapons. I saw it fairly early on. I was like, wow, I can't wait to see what it's all about. And I forgot that
I didn't finish what I was. I didn't
sorry.
finish.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the point that I was making is I started with the Barbarian, where it takes 40 minutes to see that there's the woman under the house, and I clocked it because I was like, it's when you finally. I mean, obviously there's hints of Gladys, right? Like there's dreams. Josh Brolin has this dream where like his kid, he's like Matthew, but this kid has a fucking Fury Road poster. I clocked that too in his room. But he turns his kid over, and then as he's trying to say I love you to his kid, which nobody plays like these damaged a hyper masculine guys like Josh Brolin does. Like I think Pedro Pascal would have had a harder time trying to play that character.
It would have,
because he's very
different.
much into his feminine
Yeah.
So, like he is, like he's not macho in the same way Josh Brolin is. And,
Which
You're right, and I think that part of that, you look at the like just his interest in like he's interested in his kid. He's not interested in all the kids. He's interested in his kid, and that is a distinction with a difference. And I think it's notable to both the attributes that you just mentioned.
But I also think when you actually listen to like interviews with Josh Brolin, he is not as much like that as you would, as that idea would lead you to believe. Like he is a lot more introspective, I think.
Oh yeah, he's very liberal, very I mean, one of the most memorable moments of his career was he was hosting SNL on the eve of like the election, Sarah Palin and Amy Poehler, rapping and all that, like, and because he was also promoting that stupid Oliver Stone W movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Followed up No Country for Old Men pretty much with W, which he played a good. I mean, I don't think that movie was good, but he played a good W.
He was good in it, yeah.
I remember him trying to fist fight his dad. But no, so what I was saying is it takes clocking the amount of time, right? It 55 minutes left in the movie when you actually finally see Gladys walk into Benedict Wong's office, and then you actually like get some kind of like, oh, all right, and it's not just like because I thought like at first when I was watching it, right, I thought it was she was gonna be like a clown or something. Like I was.
It has Pennywise vibes for sure. Like and not a bad way, especially. Welcome to Derry, everybody. Streaming now on HBO Max along with Weapons.
Love it.
Very good, very good.
Don't get too attached to any of the kids, by the way. Just saying.
We will talk about it in the after party, I'm sure. But yeah, it's so be interesting if he does in the next movie too, right? If he does like a 45 minute reveal with that. But I think that it's also notable. I mean, Brolin is kind of like a Humphrey Bogart type, where I would put Pedro Pascal more as like a Clark Gable type.
Good comparison. A lot of people do see that Pedro Pascal is our Clark Gable.
Yeah, and it's not that they don't range or whatever, but I think there is something to be said for there's not a lot of actors that can pull off what that character needs to be. Like it's a different movie with Pedro Pascal, not a worse movie. It's just different. Yeah. And instead of Julia Garner, it was Renata Rancivi, who's from Worst Person in the World.
Renate Rensve. It took me.
I should learn to pronounce her name because I fucking think she's fantastic.
It took me actually like having to phonetically have it out, and then that's why I know like.
She's so good, and she's in that new I'm sure movie that's coming out as well. That looks incredible.
Yeah,
she a different man. She was amazing, and
but also,
it gets less. But it's a different movie with what I was getting at. It's as different to have Pedro instead of Josh as it is to have her and Julia, who are both great, but it's just like so different. Everything about their style is different.
It gets a lot less attention though. The Benedict Wong character, like the principal Marcus, he was going to be played by Brian Tyree Henry.
Wow!
Yeah,
wow.
Or I like to call him Brian Austin Green. If you watch Abbott Elementary, you get that.
It was going to be like I mean, there was going to be levels.
That's crazy too.
That's
an entirely different cast.
These are still great choices, but like. I feel like those three characters really tie the film as we know it into being what it is. So it's like a different movie. It's nuts. Like
I definitely would want to see like the version of this that has Brian Tyree Henry. I think Benedict Wong blew it out of the park. Like
nailed it.
He's been in so many different things, and he like every single role I see him in. It's always like these very different characters, and like seeing him just as because he's British. I was looking up like
is he really? Okay.
Yeah, so he was born in England, and I think he was born like somewhere around the town that Star Wars was filmed in, even if I remember the town correct. But there's like this entire thing where
Yeah, I'm just so used to him playing Wong, and then
right.
That's not a British accent he does.
Which that role rules too, right? Like in the MCU, which is over discussed,
supreme,
but not over discussed, but not in the ways that it should be discussed more. Like that character and that representation, honestly, is good enough that they've changed certain aspects of the character in the comics to match the movie, and instead the other way around. Which he's done a fantastic job at, and like you see it in like the spin-off material. It works great, and large reason why it works is because the guy's a great actor, and he's playing a different kind of role here too, which is awesome.
Well, what I was going to say about the Brian Tyree Henry version, right? I mean, Atlanta.
Right.
So much of Atlanta comes down to
Yeah.
the fact that he's like, this big kind of like muscular but also fat,
Yeah.
like black guy who has to front a certain persona but also has something deep underneath that's not that, and that those things are constantly in tension where he's fronting like he's this one thing on the outside, and then on the inside he's a completely different person. I feel like he would have played like the principal that has to project authority, but is also sitting at home with his husband, like eating hot dogs or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
Disney adults sitting there with their hot dogs. Amazing. Great.
I feel like he would have blown that out of the park. But I was really pleasantly surprised by Benedict Wong's performance here, because he does that accent, and he doesn't have to do like the Long Island. He does, and it gets funnier. Like it gets funnier, and I think even like more extreme as the movie goes on. And he's like, "Come on, I don't want to make that call." And he has like, this accent, like on the top of him, and he has this like overwhelming accent that's like, it feels very lived in. Like it feels like this is like a performative thing that like an actual principal would kind of have, right? Like he's like exasperated by everything that he has to deal with, but also like, I don't know, like almost comical in a way, like one of a kind.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's something where, I mean, the performances really tie it together. And look at the same thing. First of all, I love the fact that Cregger invoked Prisoners, which is one of Villeneuve's most underrated movies. We've had that on the 2 cover lists like for ages, and I would love to cover that movie because it's awesome. But it's like just, it doesn't hold a candle to Blade Runner 2049 or, Dune. Like they all know that one. But I can feel it. I can feel that influence in how everything's fit together here, along with, he mentioned Magnolia. I think people of a certain age, and I'm like, I think 4 years older than he is, are going to go Magnolia rather than Shortcuts. But Magnolia is Paul Thomas Anderson's Shortcuts. But the idea of the non-sequential storytelling, but individual chapters kind of named after the character, where you see like things from their perspective, and it kind of fits in together. And again, I think Magnolia is a good movie, but I mean, Altman created that with Nashville, like literally. Like there's other people that like did it. So, and since Altman never gets any praise, I'm going to bring it up as much as possible. But I think it's one of the things that makes this special too, because you get situations where you see certain things that are unsettling or weird, and then you get like a release, and then you get like a kind of a tension pullback while it shows you other parts of the other characters, like the cop character, like, just, oh my God, how uncomfortable was it when his wife came home, and it was just like, oh my God, just getting the third degree to him, and it was like, oh Jesus Christ. And it's such a minor plot point that he hooks up with Julia Garner, right? But it's like, oh man, like this is this is one of the scariest things of the whole movie.
It's always really funny for me to see June Diane Raphael, because my like high school like really close friend Liam, that's like his cousin, and he like went to
you mentioned that, yeah,
he went to their wedding and everything, and like took pictures at their wedding, and was like sending, like, he's like, oh yeah, like, so Paul Scheer looks more like he does than June Diane Raphael, but June Diane Raphael is his blood cousin. But I always
That's
like
funny.
remember my friend Liam, and I'm like, that's your cousin, bro. Like,
yeah, she rocks. She's she's in a bunch of good stuff, and
well, they brought her in to multiple like random episodes of The League, because Paul Scheer is like,
that's where I first saw her. She's in Parks and Rec. She's in.
They had the entire episode where she's the Nurse Ratched character in there. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah. That's right. But she's a great character actress. She's good in these roles. Mm-hmm. But like that's something where, I mean, the whole time you are dealing with these different storylines and stuff. Thank you. Yes, I did. I'm back in the cold hell of a state called Wisconsin. No kidding. It's Wisconsin is better than North Dakota. The cop character is like, I don't know. I think just we live in a society, right? So we're led to believe like, oh God, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do to this junkie kid? By the way, my favorite character. And that actor is the lead in Zach Cregger's new movie, which is a Resident Evil reboot, but he's like the lead in that. But that character, I've said it on Letterboxd, I've said it here, I would watch a spin-off series that's just that character's antics. It'd have to be a prequel series, of course. This is like him like doing like petty theft and like hustling and just like, doing that dialogue. Anyone that has ever been around people that use those kinds of drugs. It is so dead on. I was losing my mind. I was laughing so hard. And he does such a great job of doing that. Up to and including like when he's in the house and like going through the DVDs and he sees these, oh cool, Willow. And then like he like sees see them on the couch, oh I'm sorry. And then he's like, go back to the DVDs, goes back to stealing.
It took me until the third time watching this. You very lightly see as he's throwing the DVDs into his backpack.
Yeah,
he goes over the salt line, which is why they get up. And like without seeing the movie first, you would not know obviously that's like that's anything because it's just a very thin line on the ground. But you do see if you pause it really quick, you can see that when he grabs the DVDs, he's actually going over the line of salt, and that's why they get up and start. Which is like,
I didn't even catch that. I've seen this 3 times now. I never caught that. Right on. But like, I love that. I don't know. Like, I feel like characters like that are often played for plot device function. You know what I mean? That they need to be there so that they can steal from this person, so that X, Y, and Z can happen. And you don't really see. And it's not necessarily a empathetic portrayal of a junkie kid, but it's like it's a hey, can you I need money for a bus ticket to go visit my brother, like some specious story with the details like change half the time. I thought it did a really good job showing a character you don't see portrayed that much, and that is embroiled in this like crazy mystery. And sure enough, man, leave it to an addict. He found it before the cops did, who don't seem like they're doing that much work, frankly. But
when you go, movies being useless, what a trope.
Yeah, exactly. Hard to believe. When did you get that from? Oh, all of them. Okay.
I'm pretty sure the timeline of this, if I'm not getting it wrong, the timeline of the actual thing, right? When because it's obviously in chapters, and we can go through the chapters one by one if you want and like talk about that. But I'm pretty sure. The timeline of it is that he has the encounter with Paul, the cop.
The mustache cop, we'll call him.
Earlier in the day that Gandhi is being yelled at by everybody, because that's the same night that she and Paul meet at the.
Right.
I'm pretty sure.
But love that chase scene, by the way. Yeah, and I know we'll get to it, but that chase scene rules.
He's trying to see his brother, and then he's on the phone when he's going through everybody's cars.
Yeah, he's like checking all the handles, see who didn't leave it unlocked.
He's clearly talking to his brother. In that scene, because he's like, oh, don't, I'll pay Mom back. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so they connect those things where it's like he's building kind of this chronology of events where it's like this thing happens and then this thing happens, and then obviously filling in the tapestry, one character at a time. But like, I don't know. So I have this clip that I wanted to play of this is Zach Cregger talking about his writing process, and I liked this a lot.
And thank you for taking the time. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
I got a big question to start out with because I cannot figure out why. I can't articulate it well enough. But the grainy security footage of kids running down the street disturbs me in a way that I can't wrap my brain around. I don't know what it is that image freaks me out. Clearly, you know why, because I'm sort of curious.
I don't know why.
What is it about that? Because that was some of the first footage of the movie we saw. Were those kids running down the street from the Ring cameras? Why is that such an unsettling image?
Well, I think it's the posture, right? I think the posture, it begs a question, but we don't even really understand the question.
Right.
And so I think that's it. It's like there's something is missing here, and some logic is wrong. And also, grainy footage in the dark, it's scary. Anything could be like right in front of you, couldn't see it. So anytime you have like, a limiting of information, the mind is able to kind of spiral.
So you brought up questions and answers, and I kind of have a chicken or the egg question for you, because going into this movie, we all want to know what happened to these kids. And it's a great question.
Yeah.
The answer itself, which obviously we're not going to talk about, is also incredible. So I'd love to know, did you come up with the question and then have to figure out what the answer is?
Yeah, I came up with the question and I had to figure out the answer.
So how does that process work? Because you think to yourself,
panic.
Do you start writing without, because I know Stephen King sometimes says...
Exactly. You're a paleontologist unearthing the dinosaur skeleton one bone at a time, and you don't know what the dinosaur is.
How long of the process did you figure out what the answer was?
About midway through, I had an idea.
Was it the same thing with Barbarian?
Yeah. Barbarian, I was like, I have no idea. I didn't know there was a lady under the house until she appeared under the house.
Come on!
I did not know. I just hand to God.
What is that moment like when you're sitting there, either typing or pen to paper, and that thing hits?
All right, well, with Barbarian, I thought, well, it's over. Like, I have disqualified everything I've written up to this point. But I loved it so much, I was like, I was like, this is the only way this could end, and yet this is never gonna make it, you know? And I was cool with that. I was like, all right, that's the end. It's a 45-minute short film with a weird ending. I love it. It's not a movie. It's not a short. It's just a fun thing I did in my garage. Then I was like, but what if I came back through another window into the same? So that was like a fun, it was really fun, but it was also kind of like daunting. And with weapons, when I had the idea in the middle, it was relief. Because I was like, I think I might be wasting my time. If I don't come up with a good reason, this is trash.
Right.
And I have so many scripts that are that. You know, I have so many scripts where I'm like, I got a great one, but I don't know. I just don't know.
Wow.
And with this one, I was like, I think I got it. I think I got something, but I got it. And then when I got the thought, I was like, it was just like I've shed 1,000 pounds.
I as someone who loved the answer to the question, I thank you for that.
Thank you.
So so then I want to go to the opposite end of the spectrum, because for you answer this question and it's brilliant, but there's a lot of stuff that I would argue is left unanswered. There are a lot of questions that I walked away going, I can't even reveal what the question is, but things that I was left wondering more about.
Is it like the thing in the sky?
Thing in the sky, or even the family relationship to an aunt that comes along. How do you decide what's enough? Like I've given you enough. I don't want to because I'm a big believer that to explain too much can ruin things.
It lances the fear.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's better to let people have their own interpretations of these things, and I don't know. It makes it a more personal experience as a viewer, I think, if like you have to kind of plug some gaps.
Yep.
And like your version of the movie is going to be different than your wife's version of the movie. And I think that's fun. You know, when I watch a David Lynch film, it's all unanswered questions, and that's why I'm so drawn to it. You know, I'll watch Mulholland Drive 100 times because every time I watch it, I have a different idea of what I'm
see it 100 different movies.
Is going. Yeah, exactly. And so that's great. Why would I have to stitch everything up? It would ruin it.
I just got chills.
Yeah.
If you can't tell, I love this
Thank
movie.
you.
I love you. You're like one of my favorite. Horror is my favorite genre. It's why I love
me
movies.
too.
So
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Is that Amy Madigan?
Yeah.
Holy shit!
I know.
All right, there you go.
That's funny. And adorable at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, dude's clearly excited about it, right? That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, you love to see that. He's
I
seen the
love hearing
movie,
about-
which helps.
Yo, movies, bro. I do a movie show, but no,
Always good to interview with "I love you." Yeah, I agree. That's a good one. I love you.
I gotta start ending with our guests that way.
I love you.
I liked hearing the part about his writing process, where especially the process with Barbarian was like he stopped at that point and said like, oh, this is like a short film, which he could have made it a short film, and like everyone's still probably, not as many people, but like, you know, a lot of people probably still would have watched it because it's like the guy from Whitest Kids, you know, doing like a horror short. Like, why not? You know what I mean? People can build out from there. But I'm happy that he's like, oh shit, like I can go back in through, because she forgets her keys and stuff inside to get into her car. So it's like, oh shit, I can actually bring her back through a window, and she has to go back into the house. Which I remember watching Barbarian. I watched it with my grandma, which is kind of funny. I didn't really know.
That is kind of nuts. Yeah.
I always do the thing where I empty out my brain, where I'm like, I don't want to know stuff about a movie before I go see it. Like, so I try to just purge it all from my mind. So I was like, I don't know, like if this is crazy, then I'm sorry, Grandma. But I was at her house and we were just hanging out, and
sorry if you don't connect to the vibes.
She didn't connect to the vibes, but but I remember she gets out, and I'm like, it's 40 minutes in, and I'm like, all right, thank God she gets out, like she's out, and then she's like, oh, I got to get to the car to get out of here, so her keys are inside, and it's like, oh fuck, like she's obviously not going to be calling up, and I think her phone, so she can't even call up an Uber or anything. Like he perfectly plots it out, so it's like there's nowhere for her to go from there. And she's in like the middle of like a sketchy Detroit neighborhood, and it's like she has to go back through the window, and then the movie kind of starts all over again, and it's like, god damn, like and they do the same move to really psych you out, both when Bill Skarsgård obviously gets his head crushed against the wall over and over again in Barbarian, and then even more heartbreakingly, like I think he's perfected a guy getting his head crushed with Benedict Wong crushing his husband's head with his own head.
Oh my God, yeah, that's so gruesome.
Yeah. In both movies, though, because I remember going, oh, fuck, like, 'cause when Bill Skarsgård, out of nowhere, right, he's down in the basement, and then his head just starts getting crushed against the wall over and over again. And it's like, I feel like he's perfected that move.
Well, that and like you said, like that blending of like certain mundane little details and fantastical elements.
Yeah.
Right? And that's something that, you know, that'll oftentimes land you the descriptor grounded, which is kind of crazy when you're talking about these two movies. That like grounded is probably the least I would call like either of these two things, but it's what makes the horrific elements work. Things like when Julia Garner's character with her freaking big gulp full of vodka just crashes out in front of the house, and you see that, and you see the mom like come out, and you're like, what is happening? What is this? And it's so unnerving because it's something where like this could be like anyone like in their car, you know, just like fell asleep, and you know, then of course she cuts the hair, and the reason why is for spell purposes, but we don't know. First time we don't know. Is she gonna like slit her throat? Is she gonna like what's gonna happen? But it's grounded in that sort of limbic system, reptile brain, unsettling nature of just like this unease, and it's something that all of these elements, like, you know, it'd be not like a hot dog party where we're gonna watch some nature specials in our Disney shirts, and and then like, oh, this crazy woman like it came out, you know, like things that like could be anyone at any time, and all of that works so well, and it makes me wonder. I gotta be careful here. It makes me wonder why some directors don't pay attention to stuff like that, because I think that there's something to be said for saying things in a time and a place. Like you guys did a really good job of with The Love Witch, talking about how while it's doing an homage to like a Technicolor era and whatnot, it's not really immediately clear what era that it takes place in. It's sort of like timeless and sort of out of time in that way. So that's one way that you can do it. And the other thing is you really go the other way, is you like hyper ground it. And I think that's something that he's done a fantastic job in both movies with, in a way that it hits a little too close to home, especially for some people, and especially when they don't know what's going on. Like there's elements of the Mads Mikkelsen movie, The Hunt, as well, which is, you know, that there's basically the Mads Mikkelsen character is they think he did something untoward with a child, and they basically come after him. And this is like pre, you know, that hack lameoid Lucas cancel culture movies, and that has Julia Roberts, is out in theaters now. This is way before any of that, and it's not really about cancel culture. It's about you know, people, tribalism, and you know, certain elements of things that have kind of become part of that conversation. But it's so eloquently deployed that you have like the whole thing, like real stuff that happens in school shootings and abductions, but it's tied in with that, unfortunately, usually weaponized for right-wing purposes, like what led us to
Satanic Panic.
And Satanic Panic, and right, all of those things. And so it's grounded in these things that are very real, whether we like them or not. Like if you're someone that has children, then you don't get to pick like who the parents of the other kids are, right? You have to deal with them. And in some cases, if you're surrounded by people that don't necessarily share your values or ideas, then you're going to have to deal with the perspective that everyone wants the best for their children, including like, say, finding them, but they're not going to have a common cause. And that's why all the scenes where Josh Brolin's character is running around, you know, with his theory and his architect tools, you know, trying to figure out what's going on and like going to get the footage and stuff like that. It's a great procedural along the lines of Prisoners, actually, in a very specific way that I won't go into details because that'd be spoiling yet another movie, and we're already doing two of them. That I think it's grounded. It's grounded in a way that it's unfortunately so common now that it's commonplace, and it should not be. But that's the culture we've decided we like. Yeah. We must like it because we don't change it.
Yeah. And there are so many articles explaining like, why do people who make a big deal about child sex trafficking focus on conspiracy theories and not what's actually happening, a la Epstein and stuff like that, you know?
Every one of those Luca Guadagnino cancel culture movies reminds me of a movie that I really, really hate. That the only time I ever think about this movie is when I see one of those movies, the movie Submission with Stanley Tucci. It was like it didn't get a very wide release, but he's like a college professor who becomes obsessed with his student. And gets canceled because he has an affair with like his college student or whatever. And I really didn't like that movie.
I'm pretty sure also Jenna Ortega was in one with
yeah. That was
They make so many of these, and none of them like have anything interesting to say, and every one of them thinks that they're like, we're really brave to do this.
A lot of them
tackle the subject. Okay, whatever.
You should let college professors have sex with their students.
Yeah, you should let college professors do whatever they want. Exactly. Yeah.
But no,
especially I gotta say, especially that there was a great. I listened to the episode because I'm never gonna watch this, but which apparently wretched movie after that. Great, I'm never gonna watch it. I don't like that guy. I don't like his movies. It's not for me. When I was like Luca Guadagnino, cancel culture movie. Wow, it's like Neutron repellent. Keep me away from that. I don't want anything to do with it. But I did listen to the Film Suck episode with a friend of the show, Eileen Jones, coming on again very soon, and they broke it down. They despised it, by the way, but they brought up a really good point that there is a certain amount of European-specific just antipathy towards wokeness.
Yeah,
that like it's like if feminism never happened over there, right?
They call it wokeism.
And I'm not trying to tar and feather that guy. It's just that like I just can't. Like I would be bummed if that movie was really good. I'm like, it's really good. Great.
Well, I mean,
So
they despise cancel culture enough that they hired they elected a female a female Mussolini supporter to be like the Italian prime minister. Like that comes out of how much all the fucking Europeans despise cancel culture. They keep like electing these like just evil goons that are like.
Yeah, just the worst. But it's also it comes back to what we're saying, that we're familiar with seeing those types of stories now. People really love to make movies about them, and I really love to not watch them because it's like cannot think of a more boring topic. And people who think they're introducing nuance into it rarely are. It's poorly written, etc.
You should let the professor have sex with the students.
But the fact that this isn't. I mean, has there really been a good movie about school shootings? I mean, there was that Elephant, right? That was River's Edge guy. Why can't I think of his name right now? You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
Let me just bring the entire show to a close while I try to remember the name of a movie. But like that was sort of like post Columbine. Like a few people like tried their hands at it. And Gus Van Sant is who I was thinking of. Which is like inspired by Columbine, basically post Columbine.
TV shows have kind of delved into it, I think, more than movies have. The thing that works about this is that, I mean, and like RIP to the GOAT, but Trevor Moore, from Whitest Kids You Know, right? Like the lead guy, the guy that was in that thing that was like, that guy, he's hilariously funny. And he started Twitch streaming to like for hours to like raise money for different things during the pandemic. And in 2021 he did like a few hour stream like with a bunch of like where people were watching him, and then he had a couple drinks and he fell off his balcony and died because he hit his head. And that happened as Barbarian, like a year before Barbarian came out. And Zach Cregger, they were like obviously like best friends, and he was going through the death of like one of his best friends, not just in a way that was I mean, the guy literally cracked his skull open, you know what I mean, like randomly while his kid was home, and his wife found, like, really sad story. And he was dealing with the grief, the anger, the feeling of how unfair it was that his like close friend died. And I think a lot of people were, because this, he had such an impact on a lot of people during like the early YouTube days, because like so much of their sketches were uploaded to YouTube, and like people had like such a connection, especially during the pandemic, where people built like this very parasocial thing. So people were kind of collectively grieving, and he took his grief, and it shows through the Weapon script. And he actually said to each actor, I lost a very close friend recently, and a lot of this script is me working through the different facets of grief, the different facets of rage, the different facets of all of these things. Like, how could this happen to somebody that's so close to me? How could and each character represents a different side of that.
Something so simple too, and like it could have been like prevented,
or like just and he could have if he felt any other way, he would have broken something probably. But it's just like, it was just a freak accident. But it's hard to process when it's just it's harder to process really when it's just a freak accident, right? Like when there's so So each of these characters, from Josh Brolin being, angry that loss of his son and really using his rage and weird charismatic leadership to try to tar and feather Justine Gandy, who Justine Gandy did nothing wrong for you, Justine Gandy.
I know we need a Justin Gandy did nothing wrong shirt. But also, and he's going to the chief of police to be like, well, what's going on with this? I haven't heard any reports lately. It's that's because they don't report to you.
Yeah.
It's it's kind of got you there.
He's like that. I love that actor. He's in all
Halt and
Ryan
Catch
Murphy.
Fire. He's in he's in a bunch of
he's one of those stuff. He's one of those guys that is an American Horror Story that just keeps getting cast as different characters too.
They keep bringing him back. Well, he's a great that guy, right?
Yeah.
So,
but I love when he's like, what about the rescue dogs? He's like,
right. He's going through his list. It's great.
So I have the synopsis up here. We can go over.
Cool.
So early one morning, 2:17 a.m. in Maybrook, Pennsylvania, 17 children from the same class simultaneously leave their homes and run off into the night. Their teacher, Justine Gandy, did nothing wrong, by the way.
Who did nothing wrong?
Hours later, only to find one student there, a boy named Alex Lilly. A police investigation is launched, and Alex and Justine are questioned, but have no idea why this has happened or where the children went. The school is shut down during the investigation, but after 30 days, it's reopened. Open the schools, hashtag open the schools. And Alex has moved to a different classroom with another teacher. The school principal, Andrew Marcus, places Justine on leave as the wider community. I had no idea the guy's name was Andrew Marcus, by the way. You learn something new every day.
One of my favorite characters, and I didn't even know that. So
places Justine on leave as the wider community ostracizes and suspects her of what happened. Depressed, she resorts to alcoholism and a one-night stand with her ex-boyfriend and married police officer Paul Morgan.
Speaking of alcoholism, let's have a beer.
Justine also experiences nightmares about the missing children and a strange woman. Any comments?
I got a few. We'll start with the fact that you don't need to get mass quantities of the cheap stuff. You could get a smaller amount of the better stuff. Pro tip, Miss Gandy. But I like all the liquor store scenes are great too because it establishes that she's this persecuted entity, right? That again, going back to that. The Mads Mikkelsen movie I mentioned called The Hunt. It's one of the only times I've really seen that deployed in an American movie. Which by the way, that's Vinterberg, who also did Another Round, which we did on this very show with Matthew Guy. And The Hunt's
I love that it's in Swedish, whatever they call it, druk.
Right, exactly. Yeah, drink. But so I think all of the scenes that show all the parents and stuff that establishes okay, here's this impossible situation they're put in. They're somehow blamed on the teacher. What's going on? Crazy. It's insanity, and I think that sets us up to see that she's in this persecuted position, a witch hunt.
Yeah,
per se.
Also,
right?
I really appreciate it. She's not in the persecuted position for the first time, and you get that through little snippets where it's she was let go from the last school for having an affair with a member of the faculty, and she's constantly drinking, and she's giving the children hugs. She's driving them home. She's one of those people that cares to the point of being a perpetual overstepper, which already gives her that persecution complex. And I love when it's the psychology of this, right? She isn't a perfect character. She's she has all of these.
She's a bit of a mess, right? I mean, but she means well. She has a big heart. She wants the best.
Aren't
for the
we
children.
all?
Yeah, well,
I love that they're
game respect game. I say
they're unafraid to have this the lead of the movie pretty much be a mess. I like that about it.
And that goes back to the grounded nature of the movie as well, right? That most people are not these. Right, exactly. They're not these perfect entities. They're not these perfect. Here's the protagonist going to do protagonist things. No, everyone's got a lived experience. They make terrible mistakes sometimes, and some of those fall around you, and that's a very real thing. I think the movie does a great job of establishing that really early on, and with a minimum of exposition. I appreciate that. The only exposition is, it's sort of you get that place setting voiceover that's okay, well, what are we in?
By the way, a lot of that added later. After test screening.
Okay. I mean, I'm not against it. I think it works, but I think it's if you don't need it, to me it feels less American.
Yeah.
Also,
it's more European.
Shout out Endless Cemetery for the raid. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. What do you think, Kristina, about like the setup with the where the kids disappear and they have like the assemblies and all that?
I mean, it really goes to show that even something major can happen in this tiny little community, and no one really understands like any connections to like other communities where this might have happened. Obviously, the witch bee moving around. But also too, like with Julie Garner, it goes to show that even a character like her has flaws, like we all do, but she means well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She doesn't deserve to have witch written on the side of her car.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of people don't like when a character, some people can't handle like, oh, she's having affairs, she's has all these character flaws, she's not a good person. I'm like, yeah, but just because there's one thing about her that's going wrong in her life doesn't mean she's a bad person.
I think I would argue that she's a great person, but she's a great person in such an imperfect world that it's driven her to be a mess. Like she's really somebody who has an overabundance of love and overabundance of care that drives.
If she was in a job interview, she'd be like, "My biggest flaw, I care too much."
And then
but it's actually true.
Yeah,
it's actually true.
It literally has gotten her fired. Like, since the investigation, Justine has not spoken to Alex. She discusses speaking with him to Marcus, who tells her he will not allow it. Justine attempts to speak to Marcus, Alex, as he heads home. The synopsis got it wrong, not me. But he doesn't want to talk to her. Justine also attempts to talk to Alex's parents, but no one answers their front door. Justine swoops around the house. Wait, I'm just going to...
Red flag.
Okay, all right.
Justine swoops around their house one day and finds all the windows have been covered in newspapers from the inside. Peeking through an opening, she sees two figures sitting stock still on a couch inside. Terrifying, by the way.
Arresting image. That's what I was going to say.
Feeling that the parents must be purposely ignoring her. Following this, she calls Marcus to insist on a wellness check regarding Alex. And that obviously sets up later like a position to be looked at later in the movie, right?
Right, and that is so effective because it's established early on that she is the teacher that cares and cares too much, TM. But like then you see like the grass is overgrown. There's like newspapers that have been uncollected on the front, and and there's newspapers on the windows, right. Which is definitely just okay. Something is not.
Something is terribly wrong here. Oh wait, wrong media.
and it's so effective that she's like peeking in and she sees him standing on the couch and she gets startled and kind of jumps back and like knocks over that bucket or whatever and makes all that racket. Again, very grounded, very very easy. Not a jump scare necessarily, but like jump scare adjacent. Which what happened there? Nothing. She just saw something she didn't understand. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It isn't like a monster leaping at your face or something.
Which continues to happen with that same arresting image,
right.
Throughout the movie, and every time it still is. I mean, it's terrifying. Like and it's terrifying also because there is no reaction. Like the blankness of that thing, because obviously she didn't go inside and step over the salt, which
later we understand why. But all you know is they're just sitting there. They're gonna flip out at any moment in time.
My brain didn't fully connect that until watching it the third time and actually seeing this all on the ground, going like,
I didn't see that. But it works. It works because she's just trying to figure it out. She's trying to figure it out for the best for the child, who clearly is like perturbed, even more so than someone who's like classmates have gone away. Is clearly like, something is definitely wrong, right?
But at the same time, right? They set it up so he's also one of those kids that gets like he's getting bullied throughout, while he's online or whatever, like the kids pushing him and making fun of him, and like one of the heartbreaking things is that his parents seem to be like incredibly supportive and incredibly. It seems like it actually is, and this is not true for a lot of places. I feel like, or for a lot of kids like this, his parents have created a safe space for him. Like when he gets into his dad's car, and he's like, "Hey, Axe man," like you could feel like this a very
supportive relationship.
Relationship, and his dad seems like he's like the nicest guy. And the mom, right? He gets in the house, and the mom's like, "No back talk," like, well, but like, there's a love there. There's like a, like.
That's literally what Pennywise said.
Yeah, if I was getting bullied as much as that kid did, like, I might be like, you know what? Maybe I will take all these kids.
Yeah, all right. What are we losing, really? They're a pack of assholes.
Soon we come to the rest of the house, watching it from the parked car on the street as the days go by. One evening, after she's fallen asleep, a woman exits the house, gets into Justine's vehicle, and cuts off a lock of her hair. I don't think anyone could have done that sequence besides I mean, other people could have, but like it's written as like a comment, like the way that it's blocked out, right? Where it's very terrifying. She gets to the car, she pauses, not expect. Well, I don't know how much is going on in her brain, but like it's obviously very clear that like she expects the woman to like freak out, Justine to like freak out in the car, and she's just knocked out. And there's that very funny thing where the woman crab walks around to the other side of the car, like very slowly snips off the hair, and then that's the end of the Justine.
It's very nightmare sequence coded.
Yeah,
like it's definitely like things like feel like it would happen like in a dream, and you're like, I can't move, but like they're coming towards like and
like a sleep paralysis demon.
Totally. Well, and the way that's blocked out and shot is like so. Like again, first time you see it, you don't know what's gonna happen. Like the first thing I always think was like, oh, she's gonna get got. She's gonna get killed, and it's like, oh no, and then it's like they just clipped the lock of her hair.
It was just something very funny to me, like just comically funny about the having to like because obviously this side of her car is parked to the street, so she gets to the front of her car and then has to crab walk around like she
around, yeah.
And then
well, and
it's like
well, because one of the first times you see them moving. And it's sort of like, and that's like the first clue. Hey, something is not exactly right here. Like, other than like the stock still. In the
Something's terribly wrong here in Derry. I mean, wait, wrong town.
Well, there's also the thing where the door swings open by itself.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay,
what's unnerving? Like, what's happening here?
What's going on here?
Kind of Amityville vibed,
So the next sequence is obviously Archer, and who's Josh Brolin. Yeah. So meanwhile, Archer Graff, Josh Brolin, one of the fathers of one of the missing children, struggles to cope after his son's disappearance. Frustrated by the ineffective police investigation, I mean, the guy kind of is just an asshole to him. They're assholes to each other at the police station.
Sure, justifiably too, but yeah.
What's not in the IMDb synopsis, by the way, I like that they show him at the job site and he's forgotten to buy the right paint.
He's missing a step. He orders the wrong paint. Like he doesn't like have like
siding on the house.
The siding to be there's all things that's like, dude, you're the freaking boss. This is your job. Like, and so that shows like again so eloquently just how screwed up he is. That like he can't do like the most basic functions correctly.
Yeah, which you would be. It seems like it's an only
kid.
child.
It's
his only child.
His life,
and I found it very amusing as someone that like has constantly been to job sites. Like it used to be like a punishment when I like got caught doing something I shouldn't. Like my dad would be like, "All right, you're coming with me for the day," and I'd have to go to every job site with him because he would go with his like big architectural plans. He had the same little orange flags that Josh.
Oh yeah, those flags are great usage. Anyone's ever been on a job site knows all about those flags.
Frustrated by the noticing the direction his son Matthew was running out of their front door's ring cam, he goes off to another family, which, by the way, Justin Long not raping anybody this time, and notes the direction their daughter and he survives to the end. The first thing I remember seeing about weapons is, hey, a horror movie where Justin Long survives till the end.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point.
He always dies.
There should be like a letterbox list that just has this as an entry, and that's it. And that's like ones where he survives till the end.
I bet there is something.
There probably is.
List.
Does he survive?
I
think I blanked out. He survives the end of Tusk, but he's a walrus. I am the walrus.
So first of all, it's time for us to address how great the running is with like the arms out and how again talk about a resting image.
They're right. They're right.
Yeah, that's our background right here.
Yeah, with the kids, it kind of reminds me of the photos taken during the Malay massacre in Vietnam. The photos of the children and how they were the pose of just the right timing of the camera, but like that's what it reminded me of.
Well, and there's people that online that are being like, oh, it's like the cross, but it's inverted. Okay, fine. And then like I love that Zach Cregger's answer to that is, I thought it looked cool, and it does, and that's all you need.
I mean, it looks creepy. Like
it looks super creepy and cool, and that's all you need.
I hate this, but my first thought was when I was in high school, there would be these fucking nerdy kids that always watched Naruto, and they would do the Naruto run down the hall.
So freaking the 70mm Discord is just like anime poisoned, I guess, because they were all Naruto running. I'm like, what does that mean? Somebody explain to me what that means.
Yeah.
And somebody showed me a GIF. I'm like, oh, okay, I see that. But like, I didn't know what that was.
These like really weird kids when I was in high school and college,
And they would do it.
Headbands on, and they would all run through the hall like that.
That's annoying. But
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know what that is because I like whatever. I just never engaged with that. I never knew what that was.
Yeah.
So to me, it's brand new. I was like, what is it Naruto
I mean, that's not
or
what
Naruto?
It's not what it is. Like it's
I
different.
know, it's
But
whatever.
but I'm saying like
I'm not mad about it. I just lack the frame of reference to understand what the hell
But
they were
it's
talking
funny.
about.
It evokes different things for different people, right? Like that.
Sure. Yeah. And that's something that it just looks arresting. It's like that's not how normal children would run, and that's clearly it's a sign of something's wrong. So Brolin's character, he's is trying to map out like where they're going, right? And that's why he's like looking at the security footage. I thought that was interesting. I thought that was a real response where the mom doesn't really want to let him do it, so then tries the dad, and it's like, all right, this guy's relentless on this.
Yeah.
But all that works.
The only 2 times in the beginning of the movie, you see an emotion from him, right? Because
Right.
so much of it, he's lethargic. He's in his son's bed. Fury Road poster, I would be in that room too. But no, he's like in his son's bed, and he's lethargic. His wife's going to work. He can't go to work. He tries. He's walking around like a
Sucks
zombie.
at it. It's just not. Yeah, it's not good at it.
And
Yeah.
he pulls back to after the scene. He still has the red paint in his car. He did not go to the store to get.
Did not go to the store to exchange that like he said he would.
Even though they have a walkthrough this weekend, and this
No, and all that's notable and good. And I think that's all very earned, and that's a good seeing his mind kind of finally working towards something rather than just grinding. Basically, I think
there's
all that works.
there's
Grinding, twerking. Oh wait, no, that's bad.
There's
Bunny.
a very he uses it on Justin Long. He uses it at the school. There's an alpha male thing, right? Where he
come on, buddy, let's do the thing. Yeah, exactly.
And you can always see it in I feel like these insane videos of school boards when the parents go crazy. It's like there's always this one.
My God.
There's always this one inciting alpha male kind of presence.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so good at depicting that, and it's so well done in the fact that I just really haven't seen that depicted accurately, like in that same way, let alone in a horror movie, right?
So he has the map, and there's a circle now, so he knows kind of where it seems like the 2 kids intersected. So that's the Archer sequence. So then it goes to Paul, who's the cop, who's I forget how to say the guy's name. Oh, Alden Aldrich.
Yeah.
I always thought it was Aiden Aldrich for some reason. So my brain.
I didn't know his name, so you went up on me.
He was so good in Hail Caesar when he's the
that's right.
character. Yeah. But he has such a different energy in this movie, completely. But before he met up with Justine, Paul had a run-in with James, a local drug addict and burglar. I don't know if that's the right description. He's the local junkie. He's the local homeless.
He's not really local. He's like transient, so it wouldn't technically be local. But okay, they make a big point of saying that. So
he's a transplant. He's a transplant that's going to vote for Zoran Mandami. Paul assaults James by a needle during a search and orders him to leave town, which is he's like he's going to go back to see his brother. Afraid the dash cam footage of him roughing up James may get him pulled from the force. Stressed over the potential backlash if James makes a complaint, Paul spirals. I like that you get way more context so that it's not just like, oh,
why is he drinking?
Gandy,
Yeah.
It might work on me because I love Justine Gandy, but
she's good.
But I like that you get the context of what happened,
what led him to that point. Right. So first of all, that sequence as an action sequence rules. You don't often see scenes of police work in small towns, which is different than French Connection or something. And I think that's done so well. You see some cars kind of not moving or just kind of bovine, sort of slowly moving out of the way. And it's such a good sequence. I love that we see it twice from both characters' perspective because you see, this isn't like a master criminal. This is like a junkie. He's just got that weird sort of reptile brain brilliance that comes out of the limbic system and adrenaline pumping sometimes that makes him feel like he's getting more over than he should. And he chases him down and asks him am I gonna get stuck? And he's like, oh no, dude. And so he does, and then he oversteps big time. And I love how the talk later. I know we haven't got that plot point yet. It was like, well, if this citizen has a complaint, and you can tell the contempt that he says citizen is so great. It's like, oh
yeah, well,
if this citizen,
if this parasite of the community has a
right, exactly. If this taker of the community,
You know what's funny too
yeah.
is that I forgot, Austin Abrams being in this movie playing James. I think he's going to be like a frequent collaborator with Zach because he's going to be in the new Resident Evil movie. I recognize him from Euphoria because he played like one of the few good guys on the show.
Wait, Cregger's doing the Resident Evil movie, right? That's
Yep.
Do you guys remember when I said this like 20 minutes ago? Yeah, okay. Yeah. But that's
about
Kristina stepped
mentioning
out.
Austin Abrams,
okay.
being like it looks like he's gonna be collaborating with
yeah,
him.
that's which I'm stoked because like I like that character so much, and I didn't know this guy from Moses, right? And I was like, this guy rules. Like this guy is bringing so much pathos to what could be a one-note character that, again, is often just used to drive the plot. I was like, all right, I'm not into the idea of a Resident Evil reboot at all because I just don't care about that, but. Could be interesting if that guy's involved. I think I would put him as one to watch just based on his work on here, and I'm so glad he has his own chapter.
Remakes can be good depending on who's doing it. Like it's like how who wants
it's
to
not
do,
exactly proper cinema, Resident Evil. I mean, I love Mila Jovovich more than the next guy, but like. It's not there's no Criterion edition coming of those movies. All right, let's not.
Who wants to redo the? Is it someone wants to redo the X-Files? Is it Ryan Coogler wants to?
I thought it was Jordan Peele.
No, Jordan Peele. Or what? I thought he did the Twilight Zone.
I mean, maybe. Oh, he did do the Twilight Zone. Yeah.
I didn't realize this until now. Begonia is actually a remake of a Korean movie.
It's a Korean movie. Yeah.
Save the Green Planet, and
which I've never seen. I have it on my watch list, but I actually already. Yeah. So it is Coogler that it's going to reboot the X-Files. And he's in talks with Gillian Anderson right now. Yeah.
For his mom, which I think is cool. I'm like, yeah, you everything on a silver platter now that you made a big hit, Let's go.
Right. Well, we can talk about it in the after party. But
I think Cregger, he's going to be in that realm too, I think.
I keep wanting to turn this movie off, but it really delivered. Yeah, I mean, I get it. And it's also because it's sort of... it doesn't do conventional narrative too, which can seem like too much if you're not engaged with the story. But I think it does a great job of unwinding that. So what do we have next, Forrest?
Wait, I also wanted to say I agree with you completely that like policing in a small town is so much different than policing in a big city. Like my town, they just keep hiring people from my high school. So like you can't even like I mean, like there's obviously like systemic abuses, and there's like 5 different kinds of cops now because there's college police and then there's state, but like it's like you can't even be that like it's like these are just kids from high school like that are now given a badge, a gun, and a cop car, and it's like I remember you having 300 people to your house behind your house, and then the cops coming and not for some reason not doing anything about it, and it's like now you're the guy that's going to go to those people and be like, hey, you can't.
So, having recently, and I mean very recently, experienced some small town cop logic and antics like that really hits so close to home now. Also from the comments, keep tuning in then, Matt. Maybe we'll be asked back on the show.
Yeah.
We should have Matt back. We like Matt a lot. I don't think we've ever let him pick a movie. But
people that like I was there's like people
it's like a tradition. We don't let him pick a movie. We just
at this point it's almost a running gag practically.
And he's like, sure.
But they've all been, except for one, they've all been pretty good. So
there's like people I was like friends with in high school that like are cops now, and I'm like, this is
why?
How does that happen?
Crazy.
Or were they bullied? Because for my mom, it's always the one kid who was picked on constantly, and he abused his authority.
That is a true thing, but I mean, no, it's like sometimes it's people that are perfectly nice that I would like.
Oh, so like they saw Brooklyn Nine-Nine and were like, I want to be like that.
I think they just keep hiring a lot of people. Like
honestly, if I was a cop, I would be like Rosa Diaz.
I just wouldn't be one. I don't think anyone's trying to make me one, so that's cool.
Weird if they were. But...
my era.
We need on the force this guy that keeps getting banned on Facebook. and previously X.
Hey, that actually might be who they're looking for.
It might work to her credit. You haven't seen why it was.
The guy who posts, not gonna wear a mask, and then they're like, you know what, you should be a cop.
Oh man! Speaking of which, Eddington, I can't wait till we can cover that one.
I still have to see it. I have not seen it yet. I keep meaning to, and then it just I'm every time I'm like, all right, it's 2.5 hours. I just haven't.
We need to redo our Midsommar episode, but I definitely want to do Eddington. I think Eddington is very good.
I agree. Way off the rails.
So this is
yeah, exactly. I think everyone agrees. I don't think everyone's like, that's a great episode of the show. I was like, nope, that was something entirely different.
Following the assault, James breaks into Alex's house, believing it has been abandoned. This is the James sequence. Inside, he sees Alex's parents in a trance-like state, same image again, and finds the missing children in the basement. Upon seeing a reward poster afterwards for their return, he heads to the police station, but is intercepted by Paul, who thinks he's coming to report what happened the other day. Yeah, it's like he really can't go. Like, not only can he not go to the police because he's like a heroin addict that has heroin on him all the time, but like now it's like that cop will like kill him, will like lynch him.
Right. Well, and I've kind of, because it's one of my favorite sequences. I've talked about that plenty already, but like I just love all that sequence, like just like the pulling the door handles and talking to his brother, just running like the petty hustles, going to the pawn shop and getting denied, and like all of that stuff. I love all of it. I think that character is so well, and it's very innovative to show like a disenfranchised character that is not at the same social status as the other characters, and see their viewpoint as well, and it not necessarily in a endearing way. Yeah, this guy sucks. He's gonna steal your kid's iPad or whatever. But,
yeah. Well, but there's still like a non
and then not get money for it, which is hilarious because he doesn't even get money for it. It's such a great sequence.
There's a non-judgmental thing to it still, though, right? Like it's like he's just doing those things. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the movie's not like
he's doing that because he's a junkie. That's what they do.
Yeah. Everyone.
Have you met a drug addict before?
there's a very side character feel to it too, where it's like an RPG game where it's like
right. Here's a side quest.
Like, the side quest is like rob a car.
Pawn as much stuff so you can get another hint of crack. Great.
I wanna do side quests like Jordan the Stallion. That man's got so much money now. He just travels all over the world just to try like one food, and I'm like,
he was living in his car 4 years ago. James, he probably got robbed by James.
Shocking turn of events.
Come here.
James flees into the woods where he spots a strange woman waving at him, which
creepy. Talk about it vibes. Yeah. Creepy.
And that's the first time you get like a real good look at the character, but you obviously don't know what it is. But like that's the first time you get a good look at like the Gladys character. Paul catches up with James, who convinces the paranoid. Wait, by the way, not the paranoid officer. This scene is he's in his tent and he takes the needle and he thinks it's Gladys coming to get him.
Yeah, and he goes
and he stabs out and he
stabs him in the face.
Yeah,
in the cheek, which is amazing.
I had I have a neighbor who is a nurse and who had one. I think 30. I was looking up the statistics of it. 30% of cops at some point will get stabbed, but like stuck with a needle. The rates of actually people getting hepatitis are higher, but AIDS is like very low from that. But like 30% of cops at some point get stabbed with somebody's heroin needle. Crazy numbers.
Which is why they ask that as part when they talk to someone that looks like a user, right? And that is valid police procedure.
I've literally had it happen where they're like, "Anything gonna stick me, sir?"
Yeah.
It's like, I don't like you're gonna kill me if something sticks you. And I said no, but James didn't think so apparently.
Well, he's so it's funny because he's so oblivious.
The guy I know.
Yeah. He's so oblivious to why you'd even ask. Oh, I don't think so. I mean, it's like amazing, dude. Like it's again that character is so perfect.
My house. I invited him over. I woke up the next day. He's crashed in the other room. He was gone, and so was my stereo.
And so was my silverware. Yeah.
You know what would be more insulting if you wake up the next day and nothing's gone.
Yeah.
And it's like nothing in your house is worth enough for me.
Oh, because they didn't think it was the pawn shop wasn't getting anything for it. Yeah. Hey, I got good stuff.
Come on, I have plenty of stuff for you to steal.
Right, so he stabs him in the cheek, right? Which is just sort of like great. That cop was already like super pissed at you, but
so he convinces Paul to go with him to the house and locks him in the back of his police car.
Wait. So the synopsis it totally glossed over the point of like James going to the house. Like I didn't.
No, I think it said it. No, it said it up here.
Okay.
Upon seeing a reward poster, he heads to the police station, but intercepted by Paul, who thinks he's coming to report what happened the other day.
Yeah, well, because that also all right. So that whole sequence is great too because he's like, "Can you bring the money to me?" Which is like such a junky thing to.
Yeah,
it's like, no, man, they're not going to bring the money to you. But it's so
he's asking Paul in the car. He's like, "So how do I know you're not just going to take the money?"
Great.
Run, take the money and run.
Great. I mean, so good.
Yeah,
it's so.
There's like a very like I don't know if you ever had a teacher like this. Like the teacher that just isn't like is just done with the nonsense. So you're
Yeah.
like you ask a question, the teacher just looks at you with that blank stare and just walks away.
Yeah, just like I'm not.
Well, I
gonna
was never
answer
that
you.
student, so I was usually the one giving like the blank stare and just being unamused when someone would ask a stupid question. Like we had a teacher who actually made our thesis statements for us, and people and my fellow classmates were still confused. And I'm like, she's literally doing most of the work for us.
I feel like I've done it on this show. Frankly, I think I've done that look on this show in previous iterations.
No.
I don't know. I just remember saying some nonsense to like a teacher getting the same blank stare and then having the teacher walk away and being like,
yeah.
all right, well,
Yeah,
I guess I'm not
okay.
getting that reward money.
Yeah. But I think all that works. And again, I don't want to just focus on like the James character, but I think all that like again, it sets up like why there's that you son of a like just like why he's so mad at seeing him again and why he'd be there in the first place. Because at first you don't know and you're just like like whatever, junkie's gonna junkie. Yeah, that's fine. But
Yeah, I mean, all right. So James walks in the back of his police car. Paul drives him to Alex's house, leaving James in the car while he enters. Hours later, Paul emerges from the house and terrifying. See, he barrels out of that fucking house.
Yeah.
He drags James inside, and you see James. I mean, the thing of James where it suddenly turns to black, like it's suddenly night, and he's like still in the police car, and you're like,
Yeah, that's a horrific situation as well. It's like,
Yeah.
oh man. Like you might never get out of here,
By the way, I like rewatching it. The same thing. I mean, you see it on Paul, but you also see it later on James. The same thing that happens to Benedict Wong's eyes, where the eyes bug out of his head.
Yeah, they gotta get really.
Yeah. It's just a lot.
Very-
It's just a lot more apparent on the Benedict Wong.
Very arresting image.
For what reason?
Very arresting image, and I think that works really, really well. Like that's
Okay, so that's the James sequence, and now we're on to Marcus, the principal. After giving in to Justine's request, and this is, by the way, after Justine has looked into this. So that's what I was saying earlier with as after Justine has looked into the house where the couple is just sitting, on the couch. After giving in to Justine's request to call Alex's parents for a wellness check, Marcus does so and is visited by Alex's Aunt Gladys. That's the point of the 55 minutes left in the movie, I want to say, where it's
That Aunt Gladys, she was a bitch.
I love.
I don't know, she's still alive.
she's actually in the
Is she in the room with us right now? I mean, like what are we doing here?
Literally.
On the show, Aunt Gladys.
Aunt Gladys in the after party.
My mom could show it to her daughter's wedding, and she's just stopped talking to my mom, and I'm like, I hate that type of that generation's so.
You actually have an Aunt Gladys?
Yes, I do.
It's funny.
Yeah.
I love the look that the secretary, Marcus, the secretary.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's such a great what the hell?
Yeah, and then he's like,
yeah.
"Well, send her in, Marge." And he says
Yeah.
Marge so funny because
Yeah.
he's like, "Well, send her in, Marge." Yeah, he has a similar. It's like more Long Island or whatever, obviously, but he has a funny voice that reminds me of Kevin from The Office.
Yeah,
Wait,
sure. Yeah.
I dropped my chili on the floor. Like, who claims that the parents are ill consumption, which it took me a really like. I used to.
That's the first time where you're like, okay, first of all, something I write just because like this chick looks wild. Like, what's going on here? And then like consumption. And then he's like, that sounds like something you pick up on the Oregon Trail, which is like, yeah, that's the first thing I thought of. You might as well say dysentery.
I can't remember what book it was. But there was like a book I was reading that had a lot, like all these little diseases, and I finally went, all right, I don't know what consumption, like I don't know which of the modern diseases consumption is, and I finally looked it up like a year before I see this movie, and it's like tuberculosis, and it's like, shit. So I've literally had that like, I don't know what consumption is at the moment. Because nobody uses that term anymore.
No, it's a dated term, and that's something that like it's interesting because you feel like maybe she was around when that was actually happened, right? I mean, and that's something that's like all the more kind of like, oh wow, crazy, and like how that back and forth is navigated is so good too. Because it's like clear.
I think I've become ill with a touch of consumption.
A touch of consumption.
It's almost like when someone dies from just like
Must
wasting
have
away.
picked it up on the Senate floor arguing against missegregation.
Uh-oh.
We talked about
Wait
this.
a minute. We're
After party.
bringing those characters
talked
back,
about-
aren't we?
Yes,
We talked about this with Killers of the Flower Moon. where wasting disease can either be diabetes, which they didn't know what that was at that point, or there's another virus at the time which took away like made people get really skinny and they didn't know what it was at the
Lost
time.
the will to live. I mean, what?
They used to all have all kinds of diseases like that, where it's like, obviously they didn't know what was happening, so they just gave it a name. Like scarlet fever is strep throat, and that's like the infection.
Yeah, but it's like strep throat that like goes out of control, basically.
Yeah, because they didn't have medication for it. And I always was like, "What's scarlet? What the fuck is scarlet fever?"
I got it twice, so I'm very aware of that.
Yeah,
that's how Mary Ingalls got blind on Little House on the Prairie, and it's funny too because when she was going blind, they're like, "Has your daughter had measles, mumps, rubella, any of these things?" And I'm like, "Oh,
measles,
so it's more than just a rash. Vaccinate your goddamn kids, you morons."
Little House on the RFK Junior Prairie.
All right, back to the plot summary, please. Thank you.
Who claims his parents are ill and that she is now caring for the family with a touch of consumption.
Despite
her insisting that things are fine at home, Marcus says he must meet with Alex's parents or he will be forced to contact the authorities. Shortly afterwards, Gladys visits Marcus and his husband Terry. I like that as like a gay husband name. At their home, it's like, Terry, can you get our guests some water?
Who Terry's the one who invites her in, by the way. So Terry's undone by his compassion too.
He's and Marcus is actually correct that like he's putting up throughout the movie these barriers between himself and parents, and I mean, Justine.
He was right to do so.
Habitual. What's the habitual line stepper? What they said about right. So at their home during a conversation with them, Gladys asks for a bowl of water after performing a ritual using a twisty stick.
Whoa! We can't just blast past that. The bowl of water is like, I'm sorry, what? Like that's like a water. Okay.
Get Miss Gladys a glass of water. She's like, a bowl, please.
Yeah.
She's doing the. She's doing the.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so sick. Yeah. I'm so weak.
The Karen Smith thing. I can't go. I'm sick. You whore.
It's the classic Emperor Palpatine where he's like, and then he's like,
got your ass. Yeah.
After performing a ritual using a twisty stick, and the ritual obviously involves cutting herself. She's bleeding all over the place. She's like, "Oops! Oh no, I cut myself!" Like, and then putting the hair of the person, the hair of the dog that bit you around the around the twisty stick. Her blood and a hair from Terry possesses Andrew into killing his partner. Horrifying sequence.
Horrifying sequence.
I think it's the rhythmic part of it makes it both kind of fun. Like there's something amusing about it, but also terrifying. Like just the pounding of his head on the ground over and over again.
It's really arresting image.
Yeah.
And it's horrible too, because it's just like you know.
So repeating the same ritual, but using the hair that was cut from Justine, Gladys sends Marcus after her, leading him to attacking her at the gas station, where she is being confronted by Archer, which is how the Archer sequence ends.
Right, and it's that is such like when he's coming over the hill, and you're like, what the heck is going on exactly right now? By the way, way to make pumping gas horrific. Yeah, I've not seen that in a movie either. And
only other movie I can think of is Zombieland. Their sequence.
Zombieland, sure.
Yeah. I mean, obviously not like funnier than it is horrific, but
but no, it's
where you realize how out in the open Jesse Eisenberg is when he's like trying to get gas in his car.
So that scene's incredible, and that just him coming over the hill. I think it's like one of the big kind of memorable images of the movie.
Oregon Trail mentioned miscegenation.
They're not wrong. I mean, we did mention both.
Just wait till the day that we finally do Buster Scruggs.
Buster Scruggs. Yeah.
She flees in her car after Archer fends off Marcus. The guy at the gas station, she's thrown to the ground.
The least helpful bodega owner I've ever met in my life, by the way. I never met him, but he's like,
are you sure about that?
Get out of my store. Fucking help me.
Go to the bodega.
Come on, because are you telling me that guy's helpful? The guy that like doesn't lift a finger when like a madman like runs in, like crashing through the freaking glass doors.
It happens to her twice.
Yeah.
Because June Diane Raphael,
Once,
at
twice.
different places, but
That's a
main
liquor store, though.
the liquor
Yeah.
store that she goes to every day. The guy doesn't even help her until June Diane Raphael opens the bottle and pours it on her, and then he's like, "Oh, my liquor."
Like, I mean, yeah. Yeah, but I mean I'm sorry, that guy like sucks. That guy like doesn't call the cops. He just get out of my store. It's like, wow, F you, dude.
Typical horror
Like,
movie trope too. Another useless character. Like, okay,
Yeah.
day player.
But it also shows you the contempt. I think that both women in like in society, right? But also like Justine Gandy, I think in general in this town, right? It's like, oh, there's fucking Justine Gandy getting her shit rocked. Like, I'm not gonna help her.
she sucks. Yeah.
There's literally it says witch on her car, and she's not even the witch. But yeah, with the possessed man giving chase before he's killed by an incoming car, another horrifying moment.
Well, there's another. I feel like that's on the level of like Exorcist 3 or something, where you're just like you're in, you're like, oh wow, it's great. And there's like wham, and you're like, oh my god, like
Yeah.
But then it's also the whole time you're like they're running stoplights, they're freaking like it makes sense to a certain degree, right? But like when it happens, it is very effective.
But it also gives them a thing that they don't heed later on for a while, where it's like, yo, if you explode their brain, there's not like they're done. They're donezo.
Yeah, because
his head flies apart when he gets hit by the.
Yeah.
Also, he does that classic thing where you get hit by the car and your shoe flies off.
Right.
It always happens.
Right. I think they did that on MythBusters, right? Then I think they did that once. But anyway.
Yeah.
But
I feel like if a car hit me, my shoes would stay on, but.
I'm just built different. Yeah.
Or my shoes are built different. No. Justine and Archer reconcile after the terrifying event, and he reveals that his research to her trying to find out where the children went. As she looks at his map, Justine identifies Alex's house in the circled area on it.
Yep.
Which like great use of everything kind of coming together.
Yeah.
Also, that sequence is the clip where he's like, the children have been weaponized, which is like,
there it is. There it is. To tour line. Yeah.
But it is. I mean, I like that use of weaponized as like a. Prior to the disappearance of so now we're on the Alex sequence, and this is like where the plot is revealed.
Shit gets
prior to the disappearance of Justine's class, Alex's parents had agreed to take on his Aunt Gladys, which multiple times they change her relationship to them. By the way.
Yeah,
they're like, this is your Aunt Gladys, this is your mother's aunt, this is somebody else. Like, and
then the Zora Mamdani auntie cousin discourse has come to chat. Okay, I see how this is.
It's just like it's that shifting rationale of like a distant relation that you are obligated to.
But it also, I think that it also pretends that she's like before she's even gotten there, is like somehow bewitched.
Yeah, she has some kind of hold over them that like the standard amount of critical thinking that would be applied towards like I don't want a sensible stranger in my home is like broken down just enough for something plausible for the people to believe. I think that's. I mean, the fact if somebody missed that, I don't even know what to tell you. Like just like be a better movie watcher. Like
you see it multiple times throughout the movie, right? And there's different things where it's like on the board it's listing parasites, and then they're watching.
That's right.
Marcus and his husband are watching a thing about an ant or a fruit fly that actually burrows.
I've seen that exact nature special. Yeah, it is really gross. Like it's like, oh my god, that's nuts.
So like, but it sets you up for this thing where it's like this woman's a parasite. Like she's bringing people in to feed on them. Yeah. Which kind
of reminds me of that one episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer about that one like praying mantis character.
All right. I've seen that, but it's been a long time, so I couldn't tell you. But similar principle, parasitical entity, right? So they team up, right?
Yeah.
So they team up to go find the house.
Yeah. Well, so flashbacks show Alex's parents helping her into the house late at night after Alex is put to bed. Curious, he peeks into her room and he sees a red wig, a small tree, and a frail old woman watching him. And again, unnerving as fuck.
Really creepy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When his dad doesn't pick him up the next day, Alex walks home and encounters Gladys and his parents at the dinner table, the two seemingly in a trance. I don't know if that's what I'd call it. When Alex goes upset at what has happened, Gladys swears him to secrecy with the promise of killing his parents if he tells her what he has done.
She also like has them stab themselves in the face too, which is sort of like, I don't know, an important plot point I would put in there. But like
she demonstrates her powers by performing a ritual wherein she makes the two adults attack themselves with a fork.
Yeah, that's
Alex begs her to
stop hitting yourself. I mean, stabbing yourself with a fork.
But another horrifying sequence, right? I mean, that's pretty
well, until it's not even until Alex begs her to stop, until Alex says that he won't tell anybody that she's there, which brings you again to that predatory thing where it's like bad touch or whatever, like a
So
relative.
it's the cuckoo mentality.
Yeah. Don't tell anyone I'm here. Don't tell anyone I did this. They always say when you're a kid, like, if somebody says that, get out of here.
Yeah, say
And then
exactly.
and then your dad's like, don't tell your mom what I got for what I got for Christmas. And then you're like, oh, he's doing it. No.
But that's all the more horrifying because it's a child, right? And it's a child that is bullied constantly. Like, he has a rough life, right?
Great actor.
He's really good.
And things get worse for that, Oh well.
But like, they weren't afraid to have the parents be like his support, like, because a lot of kids in that position don't, like, their parents are pieces of shit, like, and that, like, it starts at home, right? Like, it starts at home.
Yeah, and sometimes school could be like the only place where they do have support, but even then, sometimes they don't have any at all support.
It feels like Alex has slipped through the cracks with his peers, even in the situation where, Justine Gandy's like trying to be the most supportive person ever, even when she gets rebuffed, and then also his parents seem like like his dad. So that he doesn't have to take the bus to get bullied, his dad drives him to and from school every day. I don't know what he does for a job or anything, but
He just drives his kid to school. That's his job.
Works from home. Alex continues to go to school as usual and is tasked with purchasing soup and feeding his entranced parents. You'd think that they would have developed something so that at least they could, they wouldn't have to eat. But she's like, yo, we got to keep feeding them. You got to keep feeding them.
Weapons brought to you by Campbell's Soup. Right, exactly.
Yeah. Great soup ad. I really wanted some soup after this, and I wanted to eat it with a fork. Shortly after, Gladys falls ill again and requests that Alex gather a personal item from each of his classmates to help her get better. That line where he's like, "Oh, what can I do to make you better?" And she's like, "Well, maybe if you grabbed a personal item from me." And he's like,
Yeah,
even the kid is like, but even the kid is like, what? How would that help?
This is kind of suspect.
Mm-hmm.
When it seems like this may mean Gladys will leave and his parents will return to normal, never trust somebody that's like, yeah, then I'll leave you in totally well. I won't live in your house anymore. Alex steals the personalized basket labels of each of his classmates made for Justine's classroom. The next morning at 2:17 a.m., Gladys performs her ritual and the children leave their homes, rush into Alex's house and down into the basement. That's the beginning of the movie. That's where that's where the children went.
Yeah.
I like somebody that didn't realize that. They're like, oh, that's where the children went. 2:17. Whoa. As the local police begin to investigate the children's disappearance, Gladys keeps up appearances to make everything seem normal. Not very good at that, by the way. She has the dad still has the fork wound.
Yeah, it's the rationale of someone that doesn't live an everyday human life.
Yeah,
right. Where it's like the things that she thinks are important, like keeping the pleasantries up and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, that's not going to work if you have like these obvious, red flags like all over the place.
Somehow does in this movie.
Red flag.
We got to imagine that some part of that has to do with, the magic element of it, right? Like the low grade magics and whatnot. But yeah, I think all that's very well done. It's and also cops are just dumb. The cops are dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else is there to say?
Hard to believe. I know cops are dumb. Clip that anyway. But yeah.
I like a movie where it's like it's not just like the cops are like evil or whatever. It's like the cops are
they're just so incompetent. It's like they're beyond. Yeah. It's not just they're purposely incompetent. They're just fucking dumb.
I think it would be easy.
They're a non-factor. Like
it would be easy if they were evil. Like it would make it easier, and it's somehow more horrifying. It is somehow more horrifying that they're just inept. Right?
my woke lefty version of it. The cops find the kids. They're like, we're gonna take the white ones back to their parents. You can keep the black ones.
Oh wow. Okay. All right.
We're trying to sell this movie to our audience. I don't think that's gonna help.
Yeah.
I just said that's my woke version of where the cops are evil.
Yeah, you can make that movie with Luca if you want. Luca Guadagnino, everybody, coming out next week.
Yeah.
Go see After the. What if After the Hunt was like, oh, this podcast mentioned us multiple times. Let's see if we can advertise with them. I'm like, oh yeah, great. Anyway, moving on.
She has the children rush off to the nearby woods as Alex clean the house and the officers come by to inspect the place. She cleans up Alex's father, accompanies him and Alex when the police want to question the boy. He's also tasked with feeding his classmates soup. A lot of soup.
A lot of soup
Campbell.
in this movie. Yeah, more soup than you would expect. Campbell's.
Always Campbell. It's always
What
Campbell.
was it?
Yeah.
What was there
Not
saying? They had, like-
progressive.
Progresso uses this movie as advertising. Look what happens
Yeah.
when you feed your people
Yeah,
Campbell.
look what happens when you give your kids Campbell too.
Good or something. What was it? It was some kind of like whatever. It doesn't matter.
Sometime later, Alex returns home to find the entranced Paul and James in the house. Gladys claims she's growing weak again. And plans to leave the next day with Alex.
Wait.
Right. There you go.
I got a little bit of a weak,
Wait,
pathetic
what is-
glass cough
what is it?
because of the changing weather. Anyway, so use
What
me
is
for
it?
reference.
Complete power, full power.
Yeah. Fooled you. Yeah, and she puts the salt up with the parents as the weapons towards anyone that should transpire. Right?
Yo, your parents are weapons. That evening, Justine and Archer attempt to enter the house, but set off a trap that Gladys set. The salt.
It's a trap.
Obviously. It's a trap.
It's a trap. Wait. Shit, not ready. Sorry. It's a trap.
Causing Paul and James to attack them. And the person put an exclamation point. Attack them. The two are unable to stop the two men until Gladys takes Paul's gun and shoots them both. Until Gladys. Wait, what the fuck? No, until Justine.
that.
Some of these are not. This plot summary is not very good.
Well, she uses the freaking potato peeler on the cop's face too, which is also another one of like, oh, okay.
Well, you also gotta be like, yo, I bet you did
Love
want to
it.
do that to your ex the whole time. Like,
Right, sure. Yeah.
you feel like a shitty ex. Like, I guess they never quite confirm X is the right word. An X situationship.
Sure.
A search downstairs leads Archer to find the children in the basement, but also Gladys, who takes some dog tags off Archer and quickly performs the ritual that causes him to attack Justine. Heartbreaking because she just got out of the Paul's.
Yeah, she just escaped from one dude, and then like another one is attacked. By the way, we skipped over the fact that Brolin bodies our friend James, the addict, multiple times over, and he keeps coming, and that's hilarious and horrifying at the same time. Yeah.
She got him on coke now, not heroin.
He switched it up. And that's crappy too, because you're like, well, what's gonna happen now, right?
It's not salt on the floor; it's just lines of coke.
He did them all.
Meanwhile, Alex is pursued by his parents after attempting to enter Gladys's room. He manages to enter her room through the attached bathroom, and using some natural hair from inside her wig, one of her tree's branches in his blood, weaponizes the children against Gladys. I love that part, but what this doesn't say is they literally recreate The Shining with Alex.
Oh, 100%. It's to great effect. I mean, it still works, right? But yeah, the fact is his parents is like,
I'll play it at the party. There's this video where he's talking to what's that really cute girl that works for Letterboxd.
I gotta need to be more specific. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I
talking about
Mia
Vecino.
Yeah. I'll play it later where he's talking to her and he's like, "Oh, I just ripped off parts of The Shining. Like I just
like
why not?
The Shining, Gladys rushes from the house through the neighborhood houses as the children pursue her, breaking down doors, bursting through windows. Literally, like.
Can we put a pause on that? One of the craziest action sequences ever to involve a child has to be, right?
Yeah.
It's so good. Like the way it especially that one girl where you just see her basically over the shoulder, watching, crashing through the window, crashing through the freaking glass, it's so effective. And then you see that scene where the dude's mowing the lawn, and you see Gladys run by. And then you see the kids run by.
Yeah, I think it's only a comedian,
absolutely
come up with, because that requires so many extras. That are
it's like a Keystone Cops bit or something, right? It's like a classic visual gag.
Stops the lawn and just slowly looks at this woman being chased by all those kids.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's
weirder.
They finally catch her, they attack her, rip her body apart, breaking the hold over Archer.
Yeah,
Archer walks out of the house.
Nothing interesting ever goes on around these neck of the woods.
I don't know if I saw somebody getting ripped apart by a bunch of kids. I think I'd stop their lawnmower and look over.
I don't know, man. I really just want to get this lawn mowed so I can get on with my life. But
that's what my neighbor is like. Mows the lawn once a week.
horrifying. And again, the children, the titular weapons, the children, this time deployed against Gladys. And
I think if I saw 17 kids chasing one, I'd say none of my business.
I'm like, you know what? These kids probably got a reason.
Look,
I'd say, listen,
they got the upper hand here.
None of my business, right? Like, I think I'm
just gonna assume it's some new TikTok craze or something. All right, I got nothing. It's got nothing to do with me.
Oh wait, there's that one that's like do, and they're all dancing like insane. It's so funny. I love it.
And they're like, everybody hold. They take a picture of her right before they rip her apart, and with their head like this, like they do in Shaun of the Dead, and then they're.
Children crashing into the windows like living weapons is a wild sight. So once I saw in the trailer, yeah, it's amazing. And the thing is, like, there's so much stuff thrown at you, so much stories thrown at you with this movie that you kind of forget about that, even if you saw it in the trailer because it's absent of context. That by the time it happens, where he finally turns it around on her, you're like, oh. And I did hear. I just think there should be a title card for Gladys, and that should be just the sequence afterwards. Gladys. That's the only thing if I had any note. Yeah. And then which is like, oh no. She says like Amy Madigan, just like, oh no, and then like it's on after that, right?
Which must have been so fun, right? Like for those kids,
dude. Dude, I want to do that now. Let alone when I was a kid. Are you kidding me? Hell yeah! I'm gonna burst through this wall and climb this. Yeah, amazing. It's great. They really graphic. They literally rip her apart. Like. But the thing is, and there's some people I know in the comments that were not as enamored by that maybe than me, but it's like something out of a fairy tale.
Yeah, but Hansel and Gretel.
Guess the same. I mean, the school shooting allegory, right? Like weaponizing, like literally weaponizing the kids, like using like how many of these school shootings now are like online? Somebody literally gets into a kid's head and like convinces them to go do that. Like that's a big thing now. Instead of just being like a kid, deciding on their own, like. There's all these online discords and like chat rooms where people have been basically weaponized to go into like to do terrorism essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also too, like we gotta get over the fact that like we cannot portray kids being, I guess, usually when we see kids getting harmed, it's usually alluded off screen or it's not directly happening to them, which we will discuss on the other part about Welcome to Dare because fuck them kids, apparently.
Question for the panel. How'd you feel when you realized that Alex's bully was actually Archer's son? I mean, someone's got to be the bully, right? And does that mean the bully has to die, like, or be kidnapped? I thought it showed the shades of gray for it big time. And I think it's something where it makes it a stronger story because of it. And again, also, I'll go back to the point that like all Archer cares about is his kid. Like if you notice, I noticed the second time, I was like, oh, he doesn't seem to give a damn about anyone else's kid. He just wants his kid, and understandable, right? It's his whole world, but like that tells you something about the environment that he's being brought up in. As well.
Again, weaponized, right? Like, not a purposeful thing, but like a subconscious thing where you're literally like your parent literally ends up using you as their own vessel for their own whatever, which is why it's such an affecting moment where you see in Archer's dream, because he obviously would have a hard time doing this in real life. Like he's like he's trying to say I love you, and it takes him so long. He's literally like his face
takes him a long time to get there. Yeah,
he's like I want to say it every day because I feel it every day, but I just can't. And then all of a sudden,
and that's you're onto something that's more a Brolin easier. I think comes easier with Brolin than it would for Pedro Pascal. For all the reasons we like.
The Brolin that I could see Pedro Pascal is going, "Hey, Axeman."
Right? Yeah. He'd be the good dad. Yeah, totally. Totally.
But it's like the Alex character. Like again, it's like his parents and his teacher have created this supportive thing, and it really doesn't matter to the kids. The kids are the like. But you don't think about a lot of times you think about kids almost like being like a dog that's been kicked too many times, right? Like it starts at home and then it goes on to the wider world, and the kid gets aggressive or something happens, or this kid is just kind of picked on by everybody, and it's like no, that's not what's happening to that kid, right?
Yeah, there's nuance to it.
A closing voiceover tells that Alex's parents never recovered, and he was sent to live with another family member in another town. The children were returned to their parents. They seemed to still be under the trance. Eventually, a few began to gain the ability to speak again after some time, which I think is what that guy was talking about when he's like, oh, there's still questions I have at the end. And like one of the questions is obviously like, do any of these kids turn out to be normal?
Right. Do they ever get to have a normal life again? And one thing I'll say, now, seeing this now for the third time, is that it feels like the longer that they were under the entrancement, like the more difficult getting out of it is. Whereas like, Josh Brolin's character, Archer is barely a couple minutes and he's basically fine almost immediately. But then like the kids are clearly, and it's something that mirrors PTSD, right? Yeah, it's harder for them to come back because it's like been a much longer period of time. And that's
they literally say with like Alex's parents being sent to like an asylum, essentially. Like,
yeah, right, and which is bleak. It's a bleak ending, but it's something that I think it works. I think it's earned, and I think it's something where. I get it when it's not everyone's bag, but
it's kind of a series of unfortunate events ass thing where it's like,
right.
He has to go live with another aunt, and it's like,
yeah, right, exactly. Hopefully, this one's a white witch.
You can't find like another like cousin.
Yeah, cousin or like yeah, exactly.
Family friend,
granduncle. Yeah.
Hey, X-Man.
So there you go. That's synopsis of weapons. Look. Letterboxd is a site for social media, for film lovers talk out with and to each other about the movies they love, maybe the movies that they didn't love, maybe the movies where they just wishboard breaking through glass because it looks cool. Because you know what? It does. And of course, this is a bottom-up democracy. Everyone gets to have their say, not just Siskel's and Eberts of the world. Everyone gets to chime and opine about the movies. And this is best expressed for the purposes of this bit succinctly. You keep it short. Keep it succinct. And then those are collected weekly by yours truly. Unlike what?
That plot summary that was not.
Yeah. We got to vet these plot summaries. We'll launch a full investigation after the show, and they're collected weekly by myself for the panel to react to, Forrest and Kristina in this case, and myself. These are the Letterboxd one-liners for weapons. Let's roll them. Hold on, class sizes of only 18 students. What kind of witchcraft is that, and how do I get some?
I mean, that's the thing about like small towns again, right? Like it's.
Just a small town girl living in a lonely world.
You might get that. You probably won't, but like the town's small.
It's like 3 grades in one classroom.
You also might get consumption, but
well, that's what I hear. Yeah.
My alternate version of weapons is the weapon is the syringe, and it's how like an entire town got HIV.
Oh,
starting with that James character, and then the cop, and then Justine Gandy, and then.
Leaving the theater like, huh? But also, huh?
Sometimes you leave the theater like, because you got too drunk the night before it was your birthday.
Nope. No. Hey.
From experience there, Forrest?
No, this is
no. I'm just saying that's probably happened to someone.
Somebody somewhere, not currently on screen. Who is Prager for Cregger?
I'm
Josh in the comments.
I'm Randy for Justine Gandy.
Randy.
That's good. Yeah.
I thought of that last night. I'm not gonna pretend I thought of that on the spot.
You definitely have a leg up on everyone else because everyone that's not me and you, they have to see it just when it's on screen. But it's a shame what happened to young Matthew. Fury Road poster on the walls, an elementary schooler. Kid was a serious ball knower.
It would be funny if like movie scene is the first thing that comes back. Like that's probably what it would be with me. Like I remember being like, oh shit, like I've seen all these movies. I didn't see a single movie when I was in that basement.
I'm just glad we're seeing kids go outside again instead of being glued to their iPad screen.
Hey, we gotta look to the bright side.
Gladys probably could have just left me in that basement and put on movies, and then I
put on the Criterion channel. They have that the streaming channel, which is like they just show movies over and over again.
Yeah, or they put out Turner Classic Movies on. I'm just out in the basement, and I'm like,
hell yeah,
Bogart made more movies than I remember. God damn.
Yeah. Wow, it's been a month. Wow, okay. Right. There should have been one kid in the basement who was normal, but just really wanted free soup.
I mean, that's like that's
Frank Reynolds.
Yeah, or Frank Reynolds. But I was thinking, like, that's James being like, free soup.
I'm not under the spell. I'm just trying to get more free soup.
Hey,
Who,
if you make your eyes really big, they think you're one of them. And you can get all the free soup you want.
Get all the free soup you want. My favorite part was when there was a shot of a tray of hot dogs, and some guy in the audience went, "Hell yeah!"
Yum.
The audience feedback when we saw it was pretty good. Audience feedback when I saw Begonia was intense, intense. Like you guys are gonna see it tomorrow, both of you.
Yeah.
There were I think 8 or 9 times where there were audible gasps in this because it was a pack. Like every seat was taken at Woodstock Film Festival, and it was like it's like there were just multiple.
Yogos.
There's like certain movies where like I don't know if you're in like a packed thing, which I always feel kind of claustrophobic when I'm in with that many people, but like I like hearing the audience reactions to be like I'm not crazy. What was it that I saw? It was for an episode. I saw something recently where I was like, oh, one battle after another. I was there and I was next to.
You had like a panic attack.
Well, I afterwards I had like a little bit of a panic attack because I was like, oh, that hit close to home. Oof, oof, like all the ice kind of like stuff in there. But I was sitting next to this one, this like very fat kind of redneck looking couple. The guy fell asleep halfway through the movie. And I was laughing my ass off at a bunch of parts, and like the lady like was sitting on the other part of the row because I was in like the rows that have like the seats where you could just go down or whatever. And like the lady next to me was like every time I laughed, she laughed, and I was like, yeah,
hell yeah. I told you when I saw Poor Things, got to go out to the burbs to go see it because it was like in and out of theaters in Milwaukee so quick. But like the dude behind me, like first of all, he's right behind me, and it was just like 3 people in the theater, and he was asleep within 5 minutes, and was like snoring.
This guy was snoring too. And it was like,
blows my mind, man.
Yeah, when I saw Fantastic Four at like 10 o'clock at night, the guy literally sat down, fell asleep, and snored the entire movie. And I'm like, why are you here?
Why are you at the movies?
No,
go to your home.
Yeah, go to bed, man. You can't.
Jesus Christ. Clearly you're sleep deprived.
I feel like people do go to the movie theater at like the late showings just to get some sleep if they're homeless.
He's I think some people do.
Dark.
But his name is Mr. Fantastic Sleep.
There it is.
It's a fantastic sleep number beds.
Back in my day, you'd be burned at the stake for doing stuff like that.
This movie kind of do. I mean, the only
Bring
thing
it back.
is like, yeah, I don't know about that, but
Bring it back. What about? Jeez.
Christina, you have a witch hat on. You really do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think it's a good idea.
Exactly.
I don't know, you're like, oh, I gotta end it all. Bring back witch burnings.
Julia Garner's car has some defacement right after there's been some displacement. Austin Abrams in town sees stairs going down. So as always, steer clear of the basement.
Yo,
I love poetry.
Good fucking limerick.
Have respect.
Julia Garner has some. You know, say it like in the Colin Farrell voice when he's like, Julia Garner has some displacement.
Why? Because he's Irish? That's racist.
It's a limerick. Limerick. You got to tell people a good limerick. That's why Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson stopped being friends. Too many limericks.
She is bald. She's bald and she is torturing people who have hair.
Yo, movie she needs to go see. Begonia.
All right.
Because they let.
Brought to you by Yorgos Lanthimos, everybody. Here we go.
They let I made a meme after I saw it that like no one had seen it yet, so they didn't. But I tagged Yorgos Lanthimos and I tagged
did you really? That's funny.
Yeah.
Those are the Letterboxd one-liners. For weapons, please follow the show at Movie Night Extra for our HQ account, where we have all the great stuff that we do on this show. We have clips, attendance, short-form content, reviews, written reviews of all the shows, the episodes.
Written reviews?
Of the episodes for the movies that we cover on here. Follow us on there. Lots of great content coming up. We're going to really step it up next year as well. At Always Flacco, suffering from consumption over there, and also logging some stuff on the old Letterboxd. Now and again, you can follow him for his various journeys on this show and otherwise as he makes his way through. He really wants to talk about Begonia. If you've seen Begonia, go mix it up in the comments, I guess. Like he Kristina and I, it's just not enough that we're going to see it tomorrow. So, it's what it
I
is.
haven't spoiled anything.
No, I'm not saying you have. I'm just saying you want to discuss it. That's it. So if you want to discuss Begonia with Forrest, go to his Letterboxd review, I guess. Hot Dog Party at Conan Neutron. I just want to see Hot Dog Party, frankly. At Conan Neutron, that's me. I'm on Letterboxd.
Hot Dog Party tonight. Hot Dog Party tonight.
All right. It's crazy that we've had someone from Black Flag on this show.
Yeah.
Kira.
We've got
Speaking of Fury Road.
Yeah. We've got nothing left to do. But eat hot dogs and drink a couple of brews.
Don't talk about anything else. You could do a whole TV party parody song, but
we just want to know. We're trying to eat. I don't know.
2 away from finishing the Criterion Challenge. Follow me along for that, as well as other letterbox roulettes, all that good stuff. Highbrow, midbrow, Populous all that. I'm going to start diving in for at least the next 2 weeks, so I'm back out again, to a bunch of stuff that I want to see has been released. I'm going to try to dig into that as much as I can, and then we'll catch up in December. At Cosmopolitics, Kristina is actually at Kristina on Letterboxd. She is Julia Garner's Scream, everybody. So follow her and her hat emoji on Letterboxd, and so you can see what she's logging over there on Letterboxd. Let's hit it with the plugs because we are way over time.
If you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe, and then hit the bell to get notified whenever we're streaming. And we'd humbly request that you watch the video to the end, because it helps us with the algorithm and helps more film fans to discover the show. We're also monetized. If you want to get your chat questions definitely read on stream, you can always send us a super chat, which will help us keep the show going. Every cent helps. If you're watching on Twitch, you can gift us a free sub on Amazon Prime with your Prime membership, but getting subs on Twitch is always appreciated, and it helps to follow us on there as well. We also have an audio feed, which is available wherever you download podcasts, if you prefer to listen to podcasts rather than watch the stream. That's updated usually the same day we stream, but watching on YouTube and Twitch is the best way to get the show first, live as it happens. If you want to support us with a monthly donation and get access to all of our after parties forever, which go patron only after we do them, you can become a patron at patreon.com/movie night extra. Link is in the description for that. It really helps us keep the show going since we do have some expenses to make this happen. We also have a Discord community. Link is in the description for that. We sometimes watch movies we cover on there. We get into conversations about everything from film to TV shows to related podcasts. We even have a Discord channel for memes. It's really fun on there. You can find us on all the social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter, and Threads. You connect with us on all of those. Talk to us. We'd love to hear from you. Lastly, we recently made a TikTok at Movie Night Extra where we're putting up short-form clips from the episodes. Okay, passing this to Conan so he can tell you about his music and this week's Protonic Reversal. Conan, who's on Protonic this week?
Wouldn't you like to know? No, I'm taking this week off because I just got back from tour and still doing with that. I have a couple cool episodes coming out next week, confirming them, so not going to announce what they are, but Protonic Reversal on all your podcast platforms, the one that says Conan Neutron's Protonic Reversal. Subscribe on all the various things, including YouTube. We're all up in that biz. There's going to be 2 more before I go out again on tour with Conan Neutron, The Secret Friends. Oh, yeah, patreon.com/Protonic Reversal. $1 a month for advance access as well. The Justin Pearson episode was the most recent one, which is from Def Club, Locust, 31G. He's doing a crazy thing with Martin Atkins for Killing Joke, for that Killing Joke record. And that's coming. He's doing that in November in Chicago. It should be a big deal. Secret Friends back on tour in less than 2 weeks. First show, Kansas City. We got Jackson, Atlanta, New Orleans, Austin, Denton, Wichita, Santa Fe, and Phoenix. And come see us. I know a friend of the show, Amy Bell, is threatened to come out in the Kansas City show, so that would be cool to see her again. It's been a while. So spread the word, neutronfriends.bandcamp.com. You can also get Way of Neutron, available on the streaming platforms. That's me, everybody. And all the things that don't make us any money at all. There's a bunch of kind of rare 7 inches from the Protons and Electrons series and kind of esoteria that's going to be going up for sale this weekend. which is something that some folks have asked for. So that's going to be a thing if you're interested in that. Some of these are very limited edition indeed. So be aware, if you're a fan of the band, you should be on the lookout for that this weekend. And if you're not, I guess don't do anything. That's easy enough. Just don't do anything. That's everyone's default action anyway, right? A couple of things to talk about. Nothing. Oh yeah, Mike Watt and Second Men and Co-Neutron Secret Friends Cosmic Kitten December 5th for my birthday at Redwood Bar in LA as well. And a lot of other stuff going on, nothing of which needs to be showing up in the links necessarily. Just this is gonna be the last tour of the year. It's been a busy year. So if you're in any of those places, come out. If you know people in places, maybe tell them to come out and see us. Kristina, what do you have?
Wait, you're muted. Can't hear you.
No, it's Julia Garner's mute. Is more like it. Thank you. Did I do it? Did I do that?
I can't. Yeah, I can't.
We got nothing. Weird. Crazy. What's happening? Of course, it's like right when it's your turn to speak. Well, all right. Back to me, I guess. So, Tipitinas. They were, dude, like years and years ago, I used to work at a ticketing company, and Tipitinas was one of my clients. So I know. Well, I've never been, but I'm excited to play New Orleans. We're playing OK Bar, not Tipitinas. So, Tipitinas. That's a fun word to say. Tipitinas. Tipitinas, everybody. Sounds like a fun creature from Oz or something, you know.
But Kristina, do you have your sounds? All right. Well, I'll plug for Kristina.
There you go.
Watch,
a witch has taken her voice, apparently. I don't know.
I just started plugging things I'm on. No, on Tuesday, Kristina's going to be doing with this space. They're doing live coverage.
Big live coverage, yeah.
Zoran's hopeful win, and we're going to be streaming on Wednesday at the same time as usual because this space is doing their stuff on Tuesday. So yeah, I'll just say that. Kristina, if you want to send your final thoughts as a text, I'll read them.
Send a script. Yeah. It started with the eyes.
But Conan, final thought
on weapons. Yeah, sure. I am a little unprepared. This is probably one of my favorite movies of the year. I don't think it's by any stretch of the imagination a perfect movie, but the man's 2 for 2 for my personal sensibility. I think there's something really special here. I think that this is in a rare echelon of horror movie that's very tense and satisfying. Some very arresting imagery as we went into in detail earlier on. And it's very funny. It's very funny in a way that, I mean, he comes from comedy, so like it makes sense, right? But it's funny while being freaky and scary. I'm a big fan of the Austin Abrams D-Gen character. That's where a lot of laughs kind of come from. But it's not comedy horror, which I do love that. But that's not what this is. But it's interesting throughout the entire thing. It's some great cinematography, direction, mood building, and I love that it is not necessarily a metaphor for trauma or grief, but it's apparent within the movie.
Yeah. Oh my God, I heard you.
There we go. So let me just finish up here and just say, yeah, I think it's I think Cregger's a unique and interesting voice. The movie did something different and genuinely surprising again for me and my sensibilities. And up there with Sinners is one of my favorite genre pictures of the year. I think it's wonderful. It's super rad. We got to include it in this year's coverage, especially to close out Witch Month, because going through all of these kind of in order has been really interesting. By the way, major corollary between Hocus Pocus and Weapons. Anybody notice that? Right?
Yeah, that's in my Hocus Pocus review. They're the same. They have essentially the same plot and essentially the same scene where all the kids are running.
Yeah.
Following Sarah Jessica Parker, which I would too. You don't even need to put me under a spell.
Yeah, you don't need a spell for that, right? Kristina, we would love to hear from
Matthew Broderick because I'm following Sarah Jessica Parker wherever she goes. in Hocus Pocus.
This is a great movie. I think there are people who call this a bad movie are wrong. I'm willing to say that. It's high time we get over, being too sensitive to bad shit happening to kids in film. Like, it's part of life. It happens. Get over it. Also, sometimes evil has to win. I'm tired of, good always comes out in the end. No, stop that. We gotta get over that. Okay, it's bad is good. Good is bad. We gotta do that. We got,
So to be clear, you're saying stop that to good triumphing? Is what you're saying?
I'm just
I'm not
saying,
sure if I can back that sentiment, but I see what you're saying. It's a narrative, right?
I'm just saying, like, if you can't handle bad things happening to kids, I know it can be, a lot, but I mean, it's a movie. It's fictional. It's an allegory for real shit that's going on that we refuse to stop.
I can handle bad things happening to kids. Can't handle bad things happening to dogs.
Exactly.
Not very
That's
good.
why I was so hesitant to see Good Boy, but don't worry.
Yeah, that was my question for Eileen. I was like, all right, should I see this? And does the bad thing happen to the dog?
Well, I think, Kristina, you mentioned you're just looking forward to seeing what Zach does next too, which I agree with that sentiment.
I love Barbarian. It's gonna be like that flaming horse riding meme. It's gonna be even better.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, thanks for tuning in this Halloween edition of Movie Night Extravaganza, episode 303.
But wait,
weapons.
We are having an after party, right?
Yep.
We are having an after party. I'm just going to mention this because we have a tendency not to do this in the main show. We mentioned in the after party what we're doing. We are participating, which is to say, scheduling a month of movies for Noirvember.
And we
movies.
We'll go over them again, but we did go over them on Tuesday, and we went over the December one. We kind of went for the whole year because we were just kind of riffing off of stuff. So I was like, you know what?
But there's some real good ones. I mean, we got Big Lebowski, we got freaking Long Goodbye, Key Largo, Mildred Pierce. Yeah, there's some really.
We've only done 2. This would be our second Joan Crawford movie. No, yeah.
I think it's only the second Humphrey Bogart movie. No, third, because we did Treasure Share Montre.
Third Humphrey Bogart movie. I saw Key Largo was the one I saw during COVID when I was like,
Key Largo's really good.
Yeah.
So.
But we're gonna. I'm excited for Mildred Pierce because I think Kristina last time when we did whatever happened to Baby Jane, she went
ready.
off.
I'm ready. I am on the reins of the Mildred Pierce episode.
So Wednesday, not Tuesday, is only the change for that because for the reasons mentioned earlier, there's going to be election coverage for
the only city in America, New York City.
Apparently, Andrew Coleman's going to move to Florida if he loses, and I'm like, anyway.
I think he'd do great there. He and Ron DeSantis could be co-mayors, co-governors.
Tune into the after party if you want more of this nonsense and other nonsense that's different. Skexist violence.
Violence, you know?
Exactly.
Gratuitous violence.